G'day Cornholio, welcome champion. G'day Die, Nomi K and Mini MF. What's happening, friends? I've got a vortex mixer. I'm mixing a paint. Sounds creepy as shit. Nicky Jags. I tried to get about 5 people with that joke today, and not a single one of them fell for that joke. I was the only one who was foolish enough to fall for it. Hello to all of you great people from all over the world, be it Sydney, be it other places. Today we are going to be joined later on by some special guests, but for the moment it's just me. It's just me. And but it is a glorious party Monday, and let's enjoy ourselves on this fine Monday. And raise a beer to all of those people who are in lockdown anywhere in the world, and those people who are not in lockdown. Cheers. Unless it's the morning for you, in which case probably don't smash down a beer. It's a bit weird. So the plan with this chap, we just continue our paint job on him today. We've got a few areas that are getting close to finished, the skin tone, and we've got a few areas that are a long way from being finished, which is the non-metallic metal. But overall, I think we're making some good headway on this. Let's try some orange, I think. Bug King, the content won't ever get good, mate, except I'm about to start recording a Kingdom Death campaign, so that content may be okay. I mean, depending on your perspective. This is my vortex mixer. None of you can see that because it's not in the shot. Wow, it's an impressive specimen. Goes hard. Got to find a spot to put it though that isn't going to piss me off. Oh yeah, that's a great colour for fucking gold. Look at that, magnificent. Orange. Oh, the next episode of... Oh no, Tiger Town's next week, isn't it? Next week? Oh look friends, I hope you're all having a good time. I'm having an okay time at the moment. In case you're worried, Brisbane went into a lockdown. It's going to extend out for what looks like about 10 days now, 10-day lockdown. Tough to do my job during those times. But I still have a job for the moment, which is great. And being locked down means I just get to spend more time at home painting toy soldiers, which is always a good thing. Got an ironclad excuse for not going to social functions. G'day, Ramascara. Yes, the content will get good later on, Bug King as well. We're going to have special guests joining us on today's stream. Hello, Dunzeron. Yeah, you know how much time I love spending out and about in the world. No, not this one. I don't think this one's getting repainted. This is something I just haven't done yet. This is just going to be yellow, this area. Yeah, the cloak may well have been green, but it was always intended to be white. You're not getting confused with Walrus Man, are you? That's correct. Mate, people don't come here to listen to me talk. The only reason people come here is to try and win a free model. Party Monday. I got a great Hugo video today. Hugo wished me a happy morning, good morning. It's going well, Smeggers, thank you. Yeah, we just started, friends, so we're going well. Very early days on all aspects of this model at the moment, mate. We're trying to do something that's a bit better than the normal tripe that I fucking put out. Let's see if we can achieve it. Not get bored. G'day. Colin Paints Minis, how are you? I didn't watch the final last night, but I ended up watching the replay today. The Italians. Legend. You love to see it. Love to see a country that doesn't win much when it comes to track and field events anyway. I did not see that, no. Oh, tip top. Oh, Hados Barbados is here. You bagged me out. You know, you can bag me out without having to give me subs, mate. I'm not that stressed about people bagging me out. If I was, I'd be in trouble. Apparently, Big Deno Bot just picked up a subscription. What a lucky bloke. Well, congratulations to all of those people. Nick and Jaguar, I can't believe you've lucked into another fucking gift sub. That is a stitch up. That is an absolute stitch up. I ought to do something about this. Poor Alex has been fucking flipping out every time someone gives out gift subs. He's like, stop it. Stop it. Boom, 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 boom. Somebody send me your love. It's not low key, mate. I'll give you the hot tip. It's very overt. I can hear the pain in your voice every time you're like, stop gifting subs. It's been a while since I've done a display piece like this where I've been really, trying to stretch a little bit and doing a lot of time into any one element. But I reckon I've spent more time on this model probably than anything I've done in the last 4 or 5 months. It's got 2 years left. And it's interesting to come back to this sort of painting without that same muscle memory as I've had in the past. I did Camelot where I was working on getting things done without necessarily trying to stretch, and then Curse City. Now this chap. Cornholio, I'm the wrong person to ask that question, mate. And I say that because I use my airbrush all the time. I love it. I think it's the coolest. I think it's a great tool, and I'm a massive fan of it and what it brings. But having said that, I don't know that you need an airbrush. I think they're fun. But yeah, you definitely don't need one. I love using my airbrush. I whip it out all the time for no reason at all. I whip it out when I'm doing something that is actually easy to do with the brush, just because I'm like, yeah, might just do a bit of airbrushing here. G'day, Joe Skynet. Might just do a tweak of airbrushing. What do you reckon? Yeah, sounds like a good plan, Dino. Let's fucking do it. Yeah, but if you are interested in trying out airbrushing, the brand that I recommend is Iwata. I find they're a good middle of the road airbrush, particularly for beginners. They make a product called the Iwata Neo. Yeah, Iwata. And the Neo is a really good entry-level brush. Get you a good feel for things, and it doesn't break the bank. I use a couple of their brushes. They're both more expensive, but they're very, very good. Most of the major well-known airbrush brands, Iwata, Harder and Steenbach, Badger. You can't go too far wrong with those. They're all pretty good. I'll give you a few tips about the old airbrushing purchases. So here we go. So this is just an airbrush. It's called a HPB Plus. It's quite a fine detail one. So there's two things that you absolutely want out of an airbrush that you purchase for miniature painting. The first is this. This is called a gravity feed. So sometimes you'll see airbrushes that actually have a little cup down here, and that's called a siphon feed. So that pulls paint up from there using suction and disperses it out of the brush. Gravity feed, because it's coming down into the area where the paint collects, you need far less. It's much less wasteful for miniature painting to use a gravity feed than a siphon feed. As I understand it, the siphon feed works better when you're doing larger airbrushing things, like on vehicles or whatever, but you definitely want to get a gravity feed for miniature painting. You'll often see when I fill up my airbrush, I'll just put a little bit of paint, a little bit of thinner and paint in there, and it'll barely cover the needle, but that'll be enough for the applications that I'm using it for. So the second function you want out of your airbrush is this. So this is a dual action trigger. So the two actions are down, and so this turns on air. This one's a bit stiff, this one's a bit better. So if you have a look here, what we're doing is we're pushing the trigger down. So that is the first of the two actions, and this is bringing air up, compressed air out of a compressor into the thing. So if I turn my airbrush on, this will shoot air out of the tip, just air, nothing else. So the second action is backwards, and this brings the needle back. So the reason why dual action is important is because some airbrushes have one trigger, single trigger, and anytime you pull down, you're turning the paint and the air on at equal times, equal amounts, which doesn't give you any control. Whereas with this, you're putting the air on, you can vary how much air you get coming out of here. If you tweak the pressure, if you push it down less, you can pull back a little bit less far. It just creates a lot more ability to manipulate what comes out. That's an interesting question, Nicky Jakes. My compressor's old. It's probably about, I had that when I got that from a girlfriend 4 girlfriends ago. Here you go. This right here, I've had this paint cup since when I first started miniature painting. My mum gave it to me. I stole it out of her house, out of her things. It's a Tupperware container. The paint is caked around this rim so tightly. Drink it. You do need an air compressor. So that would be 25 years old, I reckon. That little container, 25 years. Yeah, you definitely need a compressor, otherwise the airbrush won't do anything. It won't do anything. Again, Arnold, and I'll talk to Iwata because that's the brand that I have the most experience with. I've used other brushes. I've used a brand called Runway 13. I've used a Badger. You can't really go wrong, but when you're upgrading, there's a few extra features you definitely want to have. So the needle size is super important. It depends on the application. So this is a 0.2 millimeter needle. Most of the airbrushes you get are larger than that, 0.3 to 0.5. So this 0.2 allows you to do really fine detail, really fine control. So I would definitely be looking for a smaller nozzle. Again, depending on what you're intending and using it for. If you just want to use it for base coats and you want it to be good, go for a larger needle, but this one's really good. It's not necessarily the better. Here, let me do a quick little demonstration on here. So, put a little bit of colour in this one. So this is my HP CS. So this is a 0.3 needle, I believe. Might even be point more. So I'll always start with a bit of the thinner. That's a colour I'm not going to use. There we go. So again, as I was talking about, you can still see the thing there. So depending on the pressure you've got in the thing, turn the pressure down a bit. So I don't know if you can see that, but you see how I got quite close to that, started spidering out. G'day, $2. So that one's, you can get pretty close, but it's not super close because the spray is quite wide. Whereas with this smaller one, which I'll switch to right now, after I clean this bad boy. Hados Barbados, what's going on? It probably, I don't know actually, I don't think it would explode. It's just way too much pressure. So I operate on a PSI of between 10 to 20. So it just wouldn't work that well. So I use the same colour and the same pressure. And this is just a demonstration, so. You can hold it the same sort of distance away and you get a much finer line. So, yeah. As I said, I have two airbrushes that I use all the time. Barbados. How I've missed you, mate. No, my mum didn't dress me. This is what I dress up like every Monday on stream, mate. Are you still doing your streaming thing? Remember back when you started streaming, I was asking you questions and I was like, wow, how hard's this streaming gig? And now you don't even do it anymore. You don't even paint. What a joker. I would do some research on the air compressor. There's a few things that you want in your air compressor. You want a moisture trap so you can remove water from the lines. And then you want it to hopefully have a variable pressure control so you can change the output. G'day, bunny. You can change the output. There's lots of really good articles, lots of really good videos. I think Angel Geraldes did a really good video on airbrush basics for beginners and newbie people, which is worth checking out. But yeah, there's a whole world of airbrushing that you can really start diving into. Oh, $2. What am I singing for you today, mate? G'day, Robbie's Hobbies. Look, mate, I'm not sure that I've ever heard that song, so I'm going to take a pass on that. I'm going to take a pass. What sort of dumb song is that? That's not that. That's not. Always believe in your gold. Now that you're bound to return, something you should learn. You're indestructible. Always believe in your gold. Cornholio, I think that is not a bad model. Just post a link actually in there, in here, and I'll have a quick look. Good try. G'day, Jan. Hey, Wampa. I'm sure I saw you before, but might not have said g'day. Hello to you, sir. What have you been working on, Jan? Thank you, Andrew PH. I do miss you, buddy. Hey, try Advanced Hair Studio, mate. Might help with baldness. I only said that because you are teasing me about how good looking I am. Cornholio, please post a link. Thank you. Yeah, it's a good airbrush. It's got a very large. I love you, mate. It's got a very large nozzle. It's 0.5, so you'll be able to do a lot of really good solid base coats and things like priming with it. But you won't be able to probably do much of the fine detail work that I do. Ooh. Which vampire, mate? Is it one of the ones that I know, Curse City or Crimson Court, or is it one of the new ones? It's large. It's large for miniature painting. You could definitely go smaller. Oh yeah, I know that one. Yeah, she's quite cool. You could definitely go smaller, but it'll work fine. And for that price, it's probably not a bad option to get you started on airbrushing. But I think what you'd find is you would probably want to upgrade your airbrush down the track. Probably 0.3 would be my suggestion. A 0.3 size nozzle is going to be usable for a variety of applications. 0.3 to 0.5 is okay, but certainly on the larger side. You doing that for a commission, Jan, or is it just for funsies, mate? You're right, mate. I was just g'day, Benny. I was just asking if that vampire that you're painting's for yourself or a commission or. Oh yeah, cool. How do you go selling models through there? Etsy or eBay, or do you have much luck? Because it's interesting. I can usually sell a display model pretty quickly, but I do seem to find Painting Games Workshop models they don't sell as much, which I would have expected to be the opposite. But there you go. Oh well, let me know how it goes, mate. If you sell some shit, I'd be interested to hear about it. Just for research purposes, anyway. Get TT Rob. Yeah, so it is Glorious Party Monday, friends, and we will have some special guests popping on later on, assuming I've got all my times right, set up everything properly. Oh, Tip Top Baker also coming in hot and heavy with a song. Oh. Rock on. Do, 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 do. Sometimes I. Hang on, how's that song go? Think I'm just a little crazy. I don't even know my own name. Soon all of me will go all up in flames. Yeah. So hard when everything just runs against me. Jealous words turn into a love-hate frenzy. Won't someone please understand? Won't someone lend me a helping hand? Won't someone please take the time to think? 'Cause your actions and words, they don't always say what they mean. How's that count? It's a classic song, classic band. No, thank you. Jealous words turn into a love-hate frenzy. Want someone. Which one are you talking about? The cat? That one? Or old mate just having a spray at people's models. Cornholio, so with an airbrush compressor, any compressor will do the job fine. What I would probably suggest is you go for a brand that is designed by a miniature company. And the only reason I say that is you're more likely to get something that's small that isn't noisy. Any compressor will work, but yeah, a smaller one that is designed for miniature painting, and there's a variety of them. I think the one I've actually got is called a Smart Jet Pro, and I think it's actually Iwata as well. Smart Jet Pro is the name of it. Turn into a... Yep. And again, mate, there's lots of articles, lots of really good resources for airbrush maintenance and airbrush, purchasing online that you can check out. And I definitely recommend doing so. The stuff I've recommended is all the stuff that I've used personally, and I'm quite happy to recommend it. But yeah, there's people out there who've probably had more experience than I have. Good try. Who might be able to provide some additional commentary that may be useful for you. Turn into a love-hate frenzy. I want someone, please understand. I want someone, lend me a helping hand. Want someone, please take the time to think. Thundercracker. Thanks for following, mate. Right said Fred. That was a classic from the 90s, wasn't it? I'm too sexy for my shirt. Too sexy for my shirt. So sexy it hurts. I'm a model, you know what I mean. And I do my little turn on the catwalk. On the catwalk, yeah. Thank you. Look, that video, it certainly rustled my jimmies. On reflection, I probably didn't need to comment on it. Nuffies will be nuffies, mate. I mean, I think it's our responsibility as people in this hobby to try and provide a welcome environment for anyone. We all the people involved in this hobby rarely come from very strong, powerful social backgrounds. We're usually super nerds. I know I certainly was. And I know it's sometimes against our nature to provide welcoming environments. And it all stems from the fear, right? The fear of something that you're passionate about and enthusiastic about, something that you love, being taken over by new people and changing into something that it isn't, or something that it isn't right now. That's where all that stuff comes from. And unfortunately, change is a part of life. And it sometimes feels uncomfortable, but the best thing you can do is embrace it, evolve, and as always, don't be a fuckwit. And I feel like if you get that bit right, the rest of it will take care of itself. Anyway, I hope the young fellow, and I say young, even though he looks like he's probably a bit older than me, yeah, you're absolutely bang on there, mate. And it has to do with a variety of things. Like for most people in this hobby, this is one of the things that we derive most enjoyment from, something we're most passionate about, and something we're very protective of because we tie a lot of our self-worth into it. Now, good or bad, but yeah, we need to be better at handling new people, handling people that don't come from our normal social circles. Just comes back to don't be a fuckwit, mate. That's all it is. G'day, Ashes. Yeah. And I certainly don't want to give you the wrong impression because I break my rule all the time. I try to remember it. It was another one of those times reading that dude's. Reading his comments was what really rustled my jimmies because I didn't even watch all the video. I only watched like 5 minutes of it, and I was just like, well, you're a peanut. But his commentary in the comment section was very interesting. Yeah. Comments was the bit that rolled me up. Particularly when you have Arnel Lazaro, possibly the best miniature painter in the world right now. You could certainly make that argument in there being very kind and respectful and saying, hey mate, I think you might be wrong. And his response is, no. No, I shan't be having it, Arnel. Honestly, I try to break it as infrequently as possible these days, but every now and then it just bubbles out of me. Usually in response to some rampant stupidity. Case in point. So just looking at this guy holistically. Let me have a look at him actually. Haven't taken a look at him for a while. That sounds like a dumb thing to say, but you get very focused on the small details. Yeah, I want to bring more yellow back into that gold. I just decided to start rewatching Arrow yesterday, the TV show Arrow. I've watched, I think, 6 seasons of it. I haven't watched any of the recent stuff. I found it really difficult to follow Arrow in the later seasons because it relied so heavily on crossover events and other shows in there, like The Flash and Supergirl and Legends of Tomorrow and other ones. So you do tend to lose a little bit of the context. Oh, what's going on here? Oh, interesting. I like the show. I like superhero shows. Hey, let's watch a Hugo video. Let's watch a Hugo. This is how we do it. This is how we do it. Little boy. I miss him. I'm in lockdown. I can't hang out with him. Little buddy. I miss you.
Hugo.
My girlfriend sent this to me this morning. She's trying to get him to say hello to me. Here he is. Look at his little head.
Say good morning. Morning. Good morning. Good morning.
That made my morning. Little buddy. What a cool guy. What a cool guy. Little mate. Little mate. Yeah. He's a cool guy. found some videos of him when he was a little baby before. Showed them yesterday. He's a cool guy. Yeah, just thought I might zoom in really, really close on what we're doing here. Let's utilise some of the functionality of my incredibly detailed camera. Ashes, I would love to, mate. Let's have a look at it. He's a pest sometimes. Little Hugo. He's an absolute pest, but he's good fun. Let's have a look. What we got? Ah, yes, this one. Alright, so rules of feedback, mate, as I'm sure you're aware of. We go hard or we go home. And we'll be going hard today. So this particular angle showcases how weak the hair is. Hair is a surface that acts very similarly to non-metallic metal in that it has really high reflections. I would suggest Googling Pantene shampoo bottle or something similar and having a look at how the light interacts on hair. Because what you've got here is you've got highlights in very sporadic sections in different locations on the planes of the hair. And what you need to do is actually highlight the hair in a uniform way, because even though it is many individual strands, it's also one volume. So I'm just going to grab a model that can hopefully show what I'm talking about. So this is Merlin thing. So you've got similar like hair sort of things happening here, but as you can see, I've highlighted this whole section with hair. and that is because the light hits all of those individual strands. You don't just get spots of light, you get light across every strand. So you do need to create some variance, but yeah, your best bet is go and look at Pantene Vogue Pro V hair bottles, shampoo bottles and shit, and just look at the way the light interacts on the surfaces. That'll give you an indication of how you can improve the hair on the model. In terms of the metal, I feel like it's pretty good. I like purple, and I like to introduce some blue elements on the left hand side. I would have liked to have seen probably some texture. That's one of my preferences. I like to see a lot of texture on things. Lots of different variations of shape on there, and so you could have really leaned into some interesting textures as well. At the moment, it looks a little too perfect for me, which is fine for the model. But I also think that the lighting on the plane, on some of the planes, isn't quite correct. So if you look at this one here, you've got highlights on the breastplate part, down the bottom section of the chest. It's pretty good, but on the upper part there, the highlight that you've chosen for our right hand side, her left hand side, on that upper part, it doesn't quite read true with the light on her breast. If you look at where that light on her breast is coming from, it almost feels like you should have a light on the plane where you've got a shadow just directly under her face. That area should be in light as opposed to in shadow. So just little technical things like that I think you could tweak. These areas are fine, nice. I think overall you probably need a little more contrast in general, not necessarily on individual volumes, but across different elements of the model. And finally, the biggest the biggest issue is with the eyes for me. The eyes are uneven. You've got one black underlined. The tomato bird, that's very amusing. You got one sharp black underline and then the other one doesn't have that. The pupils are off center and you've got a dot in the wrong spot on both eyes. Well, one's correct, but then the other one is incorrect. The dot should be in the same position on the eyeball, irrespective of where the pupils are. Because the light's coming from the same direction. Yeah. So, overall, mate, it's a solid effort, but I think you can do better. Welcome to Tomato Bird. Good one. Look, it's a obvious piece of advice, but the best way to understand how volumes interact is to look at volumes interacting in real life. And with the absolute shit ton of reference material you have on the internet, you're crazy if you don't just go, oh, I wonder how that surface would look in real life. That doesn't necessarily mean you have to paint your model in exactly the same, but understanding how the light works and interacts is important so you can understand why you're breaking the rules. Cornholio, when I put the paintbrush in my mouth, it's after I've washed it out in my water. So all I'm doing, I'm not actually sucking anything in. I'm sure I do get a very minute amount of paint in my mouth. All I'm doing is shaping the tip into a point so that we have a nice sharp point to so you can see how the tip just goes a little bit crazy there. So you just straighten it out. It's probably a bad habit, but I do it anyway. G'day Broadside. If you can avoid getting into that habit, I'd recommend it, but yeah, many people I know have done that for a long time. The problem you'll get into is if you start doing oil painting and you're in that habit. Don't do it if you're oil painting, that's real bad. Real bad. Yeah, they do taste quite nice, don't they, Frankie? My dad's name's Frank. I always find myself drawn to people with the name Frank. Frankie. Bum. 5 beers. Well, I don't have to drive anywhere tomorrow. It's a possibility, I suppose. The night is young, isn't it? So hard when everything just runs against me. Jealous words turn into love and frenzy. Want someone. I have painted 3D printed minis, mates. A number of times. There was a large chunk of my diorama that was made up of 3D printed minis. If you want to get right down to it, mate, the majority of models that we paint these days probably come from 3D painted minis that are just then cast by resin after being 3D printed. So, yes, but I'll also respond with a no, because 3D printing, the texture, the quality is rarely as good as what you get from a traditional cast mould. Usually because they've been printed on a better quality printer to begin with. Why do you ask, mate? Oh yeah, I've got mates who've got 3D printers and friends who've got models of themselves sculpted and all sorts of crazy shit. I think it's awesome, but yeah, it's not. It's a second or third or fourth skill set to learn, being able to set up a 3D printer and make it work. And it's just not a skill set I want to get right now. Invest the time in. Have you ever tasted skin? That model's from Black Sun Miniatures. It's called Bress the Old Barbarian. It's a delightful model to paint. There's a lot of miniature manufacturers out there other than Games Workshop that specialise in larger figures, like the type of things that I paint, busts and 75mm scale figures. Yeah, there's a lot of different places you can go to get that sort of stuff. But yeah, some of my favourite manufacturers are Aradia, Chimera, Black Sun, Black Crow, Nico Galaxy. There's just a fucking shit ton of them, mate. Nocturna, Mindworks. Alright, I might do a wee spot of airbrushing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he does. Yeah, he lost his baby ones pretty quickly. He's got big chompers. Let's do some airbrushing because we can. Yeah. Black Sun do some really cool models. Yeah, Hugo did eat one of his teeth actually, the little idiot. Chewing something with his tooth. Ah, dogs, man, they're crazy. Crazy guys. Zoom out a bit so you can see what I'm doing. I think we might just try a little chestnut ink actually. Haven't done that for a while. You have a twisted skin. Yeah, they're pretty much exactly like Games Workshop models, mate. Like they'll come unassembled. You have to put them together, but the material that they usually come in, yeah, I know that's because I bumped it. The material they usually come in is resin as opposed to plastic. I will ensure that I make sure I tell her I don't know you at all. Don't know you from a bar of soap. Alright, time to do a matte varnish, friends. It's all progressing well.
Hey.
Alex, Marco.
Hello.
Hey, what's going on? How are you?
It's good. So, are we doing this correctly?
So far, you got to join that video room.
Let us just set up everything.
All right, I'll just confirm with the chat. Can you all hear my friends Alex and Marco? Chat friends. You should be able to. Yep, you're all good.
Perfect. Okay, how are you doing, Trent?
I'm good. How are you? I miss you
Oh.
both.
As well.
Yeah, we just had a late breakfast.
What did you have? Some Croatian dish?
Nothing special. It was.
We're big babies. We had cornflakes and milk. So I think we set up everything. Maybe we'll hear some double voice, but I think it's okay now.
It sounds fine to me. Are you in that video chat room that I gave you?
So we opened that, but we didn't join the video chat room. Let me just.
Yep. If you open that video or the video link, put your video on, I should be able to pull your video into my stream theoretically. This is the first time I've tried this, so you're my special guests.
The thing is, on this PC we don't have camera. It's just a mic.
Well, that'll make it hard then.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we set up the mic only as we thought it's better quality, but yeah.
Okay, no video, easy as. We just get to talk. So, can you see my stream? Are you looking at my stream as well, so you can see my face?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We see on the stream. We opened the stream.
So what's been happening, great people? What have you been doing?
So we are in a lot of work at the moment, but everything is nice. A lot of painting, a lot of video, PDF things working on, and yeah, it's a lot of work, but everything is fun, something that we can show, something that we can't show, and yeah, just enjoying. But we also want holiday that we can't get yet, but that will happen at some point.
Yeah, we need some kind of vacation, but
Come to
it's
Australia.
hard.
So, yeah, we would love to again.
Yeah, but next.
You know, last time we came back from Australia, we got locked, and we were locked ever since.
Yeah, we've been having a weird time in Australia, but tis okay. I'm just gonna post in the chat your Instagram. How's Patreon going? Are you having a good time with it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to?
No, we are satisfied how everything worked out. It takes a lot of time, but it's okay.
Yeah, I think we're guilty. It takes a lot of time because we are, how do you say, like addicted to just creating new and new stuff. I think they would understand that. It's
yeah.
Every time you have something you want to show and then you want to create content with it, and then it's too much for you, but you do it anyway.
Have you turned that into your career? Is that your main source of income now through Patreon?
Well, yeah, but we still work on commissions and box arts and things like that.
Yeah, a lot of collaborations as well.
It goes slower, but it's still going, so it's okay. It's not that bad.
It's been a long time you've been doing it now. You've been over a year now. That's good going.
Yeah.
Yeah, year and two months now. 3.
I've been a subscriber the whole time, mate. I've been a subscriber the whole time, just so you know.
Yeah. Congrats. Thank you.
Founding member.
So how do you like content?
Yeah, it's good. I mean, I don't have as much time as I would like to watch mini painting Patreons and mini painting videos and stuff. I tend to do my thing. But yeah, every time I've gone and had a look at some of your videos, you know, it melts my brain. The way that you think about things, I don't understand it.
Yeah, but you saw that firsthand.
I did.
In Australia. It was really awesome, and we cannot believe it passed already more than a year that we been there.
Yeah, a year and a half now.
Yeah.
It blows my mind that it's been that long since you've been here. A year is such a long time, and yet it feels like just yesterday. We were hanging out and doing cool stuff, but oh well.
Yeah.
And
It were still good times.
Yeah,
They were.
definitely next time it will be more about vacation than work. But
yeah,
I don't know, painting is always fun.
we can go to the beach. We can go to the beach a bit more, spend a bit more time at the beach, hang out.
Yeah. Well, we did last time for a couple of hours.
But we can go for a lot longer, mate. It's bloody hot here at the moment, though. So no SMC this year, friends. Disappointing, isn't it?
Sorry, can you repeat?
No scale model challenge this year.
Oh yeah.
Mm.
It's sad, but it's for the best, I believe, for this year, because even if it's managed to travel somewhere, we all will be with masks, and it would be overwhelming for everyone.
Yeah.
Oh.
It was like usually too crowded, and now imagine wearing the mask and everything. It will be.
Yeah.
Last time we were on SMC, it was the last time that also I did judging there, and I lost my voice totally. So I don't know what will happen this time. Probably I talk a lot. Maybe with mask.
You always talk a lot.
Yeah. That's good. Probably I have something to say.
I'm just going to put your picture on the stream so people know who you are. How's your D&D going?
You.
How's your D&D? You still playing?
Yeah. Last thing we played was more like Warhammer Fantasy roleplay, but we still play D&D.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need to set up a new campaign that I will be dungeon master, and I'm not that much confident as Marco here, but I prepared, and hopefully we'll find time to do my adventure.
I hope so. Oh, what?
Yeah.
Hang on, I'm trying to find this picture. Wow, this is a good picture of you. You got a Wix site. I didn't know that. Oh, this is great photos. All right, here we go.
Yeah.
Oh, why are you not fucking copy pasting? This is bullshit. This is bullshit. It's not working. So, are you allowed to talk about what you're working on now? Oh, Tui's in the chat. Say hi to Tui. Tui just rocked up from Denmark.
Oh, hi.
Hey.
Hi, we can see also Jim is here and
Yeah, Stonebeard Jim's here.
I'm a bit.
she's a bit far from the screen, but I can see.
Yeah. So, hi everyone. Nice to see you here. And trying to ask about the projects. I will soon be able to show the new project I worked on.
Alexandra is.
I'm a sharing type.
Oh, this is.
Oh, okay.
This is such an old photo.
This is nice for Riverrun.
Yeah, it is an old photo. I found it on your website. I'm looking.
That was, I think we were in Munich, right?
Yeah.
And we kind of returned from Duke of Bavaria.
It was the second time of
But
the
we didn't think through completely our travel. So we went to Munich, but we didn't like planned get the hotel or anything. We just went there and went in the city at the middle of the night searching around the city for a hotel. And then everybody would point us at some places where you can get, like a kind of place where there is a crowd of people sleeping in one room. It's like, oh no, we are trying for just a regular hotel. In the end, we managed to find like one very old school, like it was from, I don't know, 70s or something.
Cool.
It looks like it's basically the guy who worked there, and everything looked like it was taken from different time, different era, and place there. But it was
travelers.
Yeah, but it was awesome.
Yeah.
There's
cool,
one from 2016 Scale Model Challenge, apparently, according to your page.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is photo by guys from Chestnut Inc.
Yeah. Oh wow,
Yeah.
that's great. That's a cool
It
website.
looks good.
Let me just grab your Patreon so I can post that in the chat. What have you enjoyed most about doing Patreon at the moment? What's been your favourite thing that you've done? Like, is it coming up with new ideas for content? Is it certain videos you've liked? What's been the best thing?
Well, it's hard to know what is the best thing, but I think that the people enjoy the most is the underpainting technique.
Mm.
So we kind of gathered some names as we would set them on Serbian. We created like the terms on English. I mean, those terms exist, of course, but to make our lessons easier acknowledged, like easier understood, we came up with these terms that were caught. Like for everyone, it was something interesting and new, and that is going through all of our content so far, like some of that underpainting technique that Marco said, overlapping layers, and that is not like one thing that can be explained in one sentence. So there is a few things that you can do with these techniques. So now we started a new series. It's like a revival of
it's kind of a reboot of some older things, but just more like detailed. Because when you teach sometimes, and sometimes you kind of expect some knowledge to be there already, but then you realize that, oh no, we have to go this into details. So that's what we are doing right now. But there is always like something, like we always build material for tutorials, I think 2 or 1 month in advance.
But then
but it's hard to keep up. The best part is like we like filming and recording and taking photos, but when you have to sit down and
edit it,
process, edit everything, that takes more time than actual filming and making.
So now that you videos, they are shorter in duration,
Yeah.
but I still spend a lot of time editing that to make it more simple to understand, but also fun to practice, so that everyone can really get something from this. I believe that Patreon is making us always think about how to approach best to everyone, not only like share what we know, and what we want to teach, but really make it suitable for nice and easy approach, something like that.
By the way, that dwarf, it's basically made with in a collaboration with Twin Goddess Miniatures. So he approached us and he wanted to do some project with us, and
we have luck.
yeah, and we kind of got the idea where we can basically talk and create characters, and the guy will sculpt for us, and we make tutorials for it. So it's awesome. So now the next one for this month, it will be, and I think spoiler, this is the first time it will be a half-elf cleric that is trying to kind of pray, but because of the rest of the party is too noisy, she's kind of pointing to them to low down the voices because she cannot commune with the gods. Yeah, so and there will be more. I believe each month we will have like a new mini in this series, which is really fun for us.
Yeah, we really enjoy this. As I said, many collaborations that are cool. Maybe it's taking a bit more time and efforts from us, but we enjoy it. So.
Yeah, and you asked about the project that we are working on right now, and the one I'm doing today is the one you painted recently, the King Arthur.
Oh yeah, Arthur or Pendragon or Pendragon.
Yeah, I kind of finished him, but I need to. The guy who was supposed to send us plinths is like late.
Missing in action,
and we finally got in contact with him, and he said, "Oh yeah, that one."
That one?
Yeah, that one. But I have like the big sword.
Ah yeah. No, I got the big sword.
Yeah,
I put
really
the big
cool.
sword on his other hand, so he's holding it.
Oh, you did convert him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
awesome.
Because
I like the ambient.
yeah, no. Have you seen my diorama? Let me show you a video of my diorama. I hardly ever show this
I
off.
followed it, but I don't know if I saw the final work. I know I followed. Yeah. Wow.
Oh, Wampa. I feel for you, buddy.
So this was like one evening or something, really?
No,
we know your path, but I followed it. So I know it took time.
it was
wow.
2 months.
I really like how it worked for the inner room also.
Yeah.
And the ambience for everything.
It was 2 months.
It's really crazy.
And the battle.
I
mean, if we don't know you, we would think, who is this? Like, how many years has passed for this? But yeah, we know you, so we know you take up the big challenges and projects, and like compliments for you for managing to do all of this.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
It's a lot of work.
It was a lot of work, and but I did it all on stream, and everyone on stream helped stay motivated. I have to say, I did videos for my YouTube channel, and ever since I started streaming, I don't want to do YouTube videos anymore because it's just so easy to get on. You can just turn on your stream, you start doing your painting, and that's it. You don't even have to think about it,
Yeah, it's more natural, and as we mentioned before, it saves time because you would rather spend your time painting instead of editing videos.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
Because also in live videos you can show much more. That's why we also have
We have live videos.
live
sometimes.
videos for Patreon, and I think people like it very much because they can see the full process and they can ask questions and
We're
everything.
working toward that to make it.
So in a way it's like easier to make, but it's even better for people who are watching it because they can learn much more from it.
We recently had also one public live stream.
Mm.
And we set up everything like with OBS and like made the screen with us and painting, and half an hour before the stream we realized that we will lose the video quality. So we
Is that because
changed
your
everything.
computer? Because your computer's too slow?
Oh, our computer is better now.
No, the PC is good. Maybe we still didn't
Like,
all of the settings for OBS. I don't know.
OBS, when we tried it first time with the camera and everything, it worked okay. But then next time before the stream, for some reason it made our stream lose the quality and not like a low percentage, but very high. We didn't wanted to risk the details to be able to have like a screen with everything, so we just decided to have one big screen with miniature only, so everything can be seen nicely. And the good thing is that when we stream this way, everything is visible, even the tiny details like fur that we streamed recently. But if we try to make a cool screen, it doesn't work for us.
Maybe it also has some like our internet. Maybe
I don't know.
But there can be.
We took the best one possible here, but I guess
not good enough.
There can be a lot of reasons. My stream, my computer was slow, so I bought a new computer, and then you got to get the settings right. You got to have the right camera and all that sort of stuff. You probably got the right camera, but
well, we used our camera is a webcam. Maybe we need to also
professional.
Use the other one for the stream.
Yeah.
So we're getting there, we're getting along with technology.
No, I went to get the equipment and everything, but it's always the first question when I ask for this equipment in the stores here. They're like, "Are you a YouTuber?" I'm like, "Are you some famous YouTuber?" And I said, "If I'm famous, you would know me." But okay. But then they always give me like the vlog equipment and stuff like that, and I said no, I need something to fill my table and tiny miniatures. You don't understand it, but it's okay. So, yeah.
What camera do you use for this?
So I've actually got, as you can tell, 3 cameras. I've got this one here, which you can't see, but it's a Handycam. It's a Sony AX33 Handycam, and it's a 4K camera. And it is running through to my computer via an Elgato cam link. So that turns a camcorder into a webcam. And then I've also just got 2 normal 1080p webcams, one for my face and one for this palette. So it took a little while to set up, but once I got it set up,
it's really good. You can really see what you're doing, and it's really nice.
Well, I can zoom in even more.
And like, are you? Yeah.
Oh, of that.
Yeah, so you can get all the way into that sort of detail. Yes.
That's awesome.
Thanks, Frog Jim. He's saying it's lucky my face isn't in 4K. You're a dickhead, mate. What a dickhead.
Yeah.
So, and your camera is above you.
My camera here. Let me. I'll show you because I can zoom out a bit and show you how it works. I'll use my face. So if you have a look here, I'll just zoom this out. There's my camera there.
Oh.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
So, and you don't have any issue painting, because I always find like when I try to place the right position for camera, it's always hard for me to paint.
We are like showing figure to camera like you see, and we don't see what we're doing, but you see it.
So this is the view that I have. I'll just send you. G'day, Gore the Ferenc. I'll just send you a picture on Messenger. You can see where the camera is. It doesn't obstruct my view at all. I just sent it to your Messenger, Alex. Yeah, it's like, g'day Vibe Rat. Yeah, mate, I'm happy to dress like this. It's Party Monday, by the way. You're supposed to be wearing a tie and fancy outfits, so I'm sure Alex and Marco are as well, everyone. But yeah, you can. That's a direct line to my eye line, so you can see it's not obstructing me at all. It's just on a slight angle, so it shoots in.
That's awesome.
Cool.
But yeah, I'm about to start recording some board games. Remember when we played Blood Rage? How good was that game? Fuck.
Yeah, you know when I first played, I didn't really pay too much attention, and then there was a guy who said, I'm a professional board game player, and I said like, okay, then you can help me, but then we lost immediately, and I don't know what. Okay,
Who was that guy? I don't even remember who that was. Some guy, hey.
yeah, and Trent, you
Marco still
you kind
remembers.
of backstab me there. I remember the moment when I said like, I will pillage this village, but like, will you let me? And I said, yeah, sure. And then when it was my time to pillage something, and then you said,
And for his
everybody for himself, come on. And then you attacked me. So okay, thank you.
Look, mate,
Great tutorial.
all's fair in love and war, mate. That's all I'll say. We're not here to make friends. It's all about
Yeah.
victory.
But
one
still,
thing-
like after that, I think I got pretty good in this game.
I didn't want any after we left Australia. I loved the game and I was like, I'm the best at this. And then I didn't want, I think, any of the games. But
Well, the great thing about the game is that you cannot stick with one strategy. So you kind of have to be very, you always have to be sure that you can change a strategy. If you keep to the same thing, then you probably will lose, or it will be very much more difficult for you.
Yeah.
for me, it's funny. We have one friend that plays with us sometimes, and she always looks like uninterested, and she always like play to sacrifice.
She's lucky. Like,
Yeah, she's playing Loki strategy, but I didn't realize that the first time I said, "But you will die," and she's like, "I have my strategy," and I was like, "That doesn't look so," but then she almost won. And they had much more points than me, thinking I have a good strategy, but like I will not attack everyone, I will
Yeah.
go my own path, I will collect the glory, and so on. But
The-
nothing happens, I'm like average with that. I need better strategy.
but the one and only strategy like that worked the best is just to let other players fight,
Yeah.
and then when they die, you just take over.
That's all.
Yeah.
They're amazing. And it's best when it's draw, so both sides are dead.
Everyone dies and then you just swoop in there.
Everyone died. And you just walk in like, oh, there is so much free space now. time to conquer.
Now this triggers me, but imagine you're starting the game and somebody immediately go for
For Yggdrasil.
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 Yeah.
And then you don't want to let them,
It's the best thing when like two players or more players try to take Yggdrasil and there's a draw, so nobody got it.
Yeah.
And then the one guy that didn't got involved, he just take it for free, because everybody is there.
My one of my favourite plays is in the first age. You take Lord of Hammers, which is the one that lets you
Okay.
move around after you win a combat. You play that first, and then you run into Yggdrasil straight away, and you just go straight for Yggdrasil first turn. It's the best.
Yeah.
What a cool
Well,
game.
it's really cool that game is kind of simple, but there is a lot of strategy that you can build upon your playstyle. And we got recently the Ankh game.
Oh yeah,
which
did
is
you get
like
that? I got that too. I played a couple of games. I really like it. It's really cool.
Well, because we live in Serbia, I ordered mine to arrive in UK because the shipping price was more than the actual game. So I said like, well, I'll just give it to my friend in UK, and then when he arrives here, he will bring it.
Good
But we find out the box because we pick all the expansion and stuff. It's like he needs additional luggage for that.
Too many additional.
Yeah, it's a massive game. I showed off the models on
Yeah.
here the other night. It's pretty awesome. The models are incredible.
Yeah, they're really cool. And even the Blood Rage minis are cool.
Yeah.
Cornholio, this is some friends of mine from the beautiful country of Serbia on the other side of the world, and we're on a Discord phone call right now, mate. So we're just having a very, very nice, fun chat because we haven't seen each other since January last year.
Yeah.
See you, Smeggers.
Once again. Yeah. So sorry for misunderstanding with video. We really wish we set up
Oh, that's okay.
So
to
with
see each other actually, but I understood that we're doing the voice channel, so sorry about that.
No, you don't have to apologise. It's easy, mate. I just wanted to talk to you. I don't really care.
Yeah, well, we really enjoy hearing from you again. This year and a half feels so distant, even if we're all online and like trying to get this pandemic over, but it feels like strange.
Yeah.
For us, it probably changed a lot of things, not that much visibly. For example, we probably would never start at Patreon if we weren't locked down, but that's good, I guess, because we really love it. Love to be able to teach online, and love to be able to meet so many people and enjoy all the things. And we enjoy your streams, we enjoy all the content that is happening online, and we believe that this community is just growing with
definitely.
like too many amazing figures, also 3D printing and 3D printable stuff that we are now
Yeah, we
addicted
also
to.
recently started our let's say journey with 3D printing, and it's kind of another addiction. But you know, it's good. Like I like every month I got subscribed to a couple of platforms, and then every month I got emails, so you got so many new minis to print. It's so cool. I will never paint them, but it's cool.
You'll never paint them. See, that's the only reason I haven't gotten into it yet, because I know that I will just get so many models, I'll buy so many models, and I'll never fucking paint them. And I paint more than most people. So if I'm not going to paint them, how the fuck is anyone else going to paint them? Seriously.
But you know, it's like.
But it's cool, like the ability that you can, just print and paint. It's really awesome, and the fact that there is now like busts and 75mm scale models that you can basically print and prepare much faster than a resin kit, and that's really something. You don't have to clean the mold lines, right? You just have to sand a little places where there's like the connection with support, but it's so much less work. Even though the printing takes its time, you don't do anything, you just wait until the print is done and then just have to clean it, but it's faster than actual. I mean, it really depends how, like, someone maybe won't clean the resin kit as much as I do, but I find out that it's much faster now.
I would clean the resin kit as much as you do, and then I will prime it, and then I will still find something, and then I will clean it again. So, yeah. I think the primer is the one that shows you if there is more mold lines or stuff. But printer doesn't have that. That's good.
The thing I like most about it is the ability to scale things up. So for Camelot, I had a friend of mine. I bought some terrain from a 3D sculpt place, and it was Warhammer scale terrain, and we just scaled it up so it was appropriate for Camelot, and it scaled up perfectly. The detail was excellent. It just worked, and the ability to grab something that was perfect for what I was trying to achieve very, very easily made me a little bit scared, because I was like, well, fuck, if I ever do get a 3D printer, I'm just going to go crazy on it. I'm just going to fucking spend so much money. It's going to be wild.
Yeah, and also our friend from Zillow Miniatures, he just started a thing with scanning the traditional prints and making it like STLs and scaling down those. Yeah, traditional sculpts, sorry, not prints, traditional sculpts, which was really cool. He scanned them and then have like a 3D model.
That's awesome. They're the guys who did the Minotaurs, yeah?
Yeah. But he also like produced some of the sculptors called Boris.
Yeah. I know him. Yep.
Yeah.
He does
like
D&D models. Didn't he do like Hero Quest? Did he do a Hero Quest range as well? Old Hero Quest? Boris?
Sorry, I didn't.
Yeah, we didn't.
Did Boris do that sculpted Hero Quest version where he redid?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
You really have interesting style. Really, the cool one, like old vibe with some stylization.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
I liked his sculpts a lot. Yeah, it's an interesting world, isn't it? When you can just have models appear on your doorstep without having to buy them. You print them out and bang, all of a sudden you've got new models to paint. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one more thing that was amazing for me before we started 3D printing miniatures, we learned about 3D like 3D printing, and many of the patrons that are creating STL files monthly. And then we got a question from our friend sculptor from Artisan Guild to make characters representing us.
Yeah.
And that was before we started Patreon, like a month or two before.
Yeah. So
I'll
those
show a photo
guys,
of
they
it.
actually convince us to create Patreon.
Yeah, they're guilty.
Because every time we talk and they say like, you should make a Patreon. Come on, it changed our life. You know, you need to make a Patreon. It will be much more easy to like earn money and teach.
Manage things, yeah. And they didn't tell us we got so addicted, but okay.
So they're probably the main kind of
On content creation.
yeah, the guilt. Yeah, they're guilty for us.
But yeah, what I wanted to say is that we loved the opportunity to like do more of the role playing in a fantasy miniature world by creating characters that we like now that we're doing the line with the gracious heart. So it's we managed to write a backstory of our characters. So the perfect role play that we imagine us in, and to have that, yeah.
Yeah. Well,
So my name there, my roleplay character.
Volpiano White Branch.
Yeah, and I have a big story about that. I really need to write that somewhere or record to explain. And I have a little pet familiar that is like some Digimon. Just it's like a fox, or a cat,
yeah.
forest, something. It have the same wooden horns like Volpana.
So and actually the talk with the sculptor started in Australia.
Yeah,
And,
Did
that
it?
message there.
And yeah, so that's when it all started. Creating.
Yeah, I think when we were at Tobias.
Yeah,
probably,
you were at Tobias.
playing Dark Heresy.
Yeah, so I don't know if Dave is here, but he played with us Dark Heresy at Tobias. We roleplay. I was leading the party, and it was so awesome. Like it was.
All kind of
Dave didn't drink. Only Tobias and Dark.
not drinking, but the character. I asked about the character.
Look,
Yeah. So
your hair's even the
so he
same
was-
colour in that photo. How cool is that?
Oh yeah.
Hey, I'm just going to get another beer. Hang on a second.
Oh, cool.
Awesome for photos. It's like watching the memory really.
All right, I'm back. Dave, he's a bit of an early riser. He likes painting in the mornings. I like painting at nights. So he doesn't normally get on my stream unless it's on the weekends, and then he'll pop in and say good day. So where's yours, Marco? What was your guy's name? I can't remember. What was his name?
Yeah, his name is Justice and Mark.
That's right.
Just like Mark.
Very original.
Yes,
Yeah.
there he is.
So like, yeah. So Volpana name is inspired by like a vulpe, like a Latin word for fox. Makes sense with the fox familiar, but yeah, kind of original.
Kind of.
Um,
Oh, there he is. The specimen. Let's give it a
Ah,
photo of
yeah.
him as well.
yeah, I really enjoy painting the model, knowing that it is
Yeah.
Mark.
Yeah, I need to paint like the smaller version of this model for a game, and to have him.
Interestingly, there's another dude called Marko Miladinovic. He's a tennis player or something, and there's a coach. I googled your name,
yeah.
Alex, and you popped up straight away. But
Yeah, I'm still like incognito.
It's I was in a lot of work yesterday during the day, and every time I tried to do something, I did some crazy stuff. And for example, I post a new cover and something, and I wanted to tag Marco, and then I went to Google and I wrote Marco Milodinovic, and then I got a tennis player. I was like, what's this? And then I realized I'm not on Facebook, I'm on Google, and so on. But yeah, that's when you have some obligations and you work like a zombie. So you just do things here.
It's pretty cool to have models sculpted to look like you, isn't it?
Yeah, but actually there was before this one there was another one, if you remember, like a year before.
Oh yeah, you already had the model also.
The the one with like the hammer and
Like a
little
iguana.
chameleon.
A chameleon, yeah.
I don't remember that.
It's sculpted by another sculptor.
It's for Dorjin
Dorjin.
Paintforge.
Oh,
And
did he do one?
Yeah, he actually was the first one to
but
do
we
it.
didn't paint that yet.
Yeah, we need to paint that one as well.
Yeah.
Which oh
I'm
wow,
up with you.
I love Durgan Paintforge's paint style. He's crazy guy.
Mm.
You did that awesome troll, the forest troll, hey? From
Yeah,
Durgan.
recently it was.
Yeah.
It's really like very
Oh.
Trudvan kind of Paul Bonner style.
Yeah.
troll.
I also feel like it's really a good example of how your style of painting, a model that really suits that color and the the feeling of. Oh, that's a good fucking photo, Dino, you dickhead.
Perfect.
Perfect. It's exactly what I was going for.
Yeah.
No, it really suits your style of painting this model, with all of the really magical colours and stuff that sort of float around under the surface. This model just feels like a perfect canvas for that.
Yeah. It is like a retrospective now when we're looking at it and on the screen.
Mm.
We don't always have opportunity to just
Think too
Think,
much about
yeah.
the stuff we do because there's always a new project and then you just you forget the old ones.
but there are like projects like this one and those newer ones also that you did that really when we also get when I say this suits to something that you would paint somehow I see your signature there or something.
Mm. I just like the subtle tones of blue in the skin on his hand, and then you've got the oranges and the reds and in the skin tones, and then in the green you've got that sort of magenta color underneath. It's just there's a lot of subtle colors in there that makes it feel very magical, and this model feels like a model that should be very magical. Another one is your. What was that name from that dude from Aradia Miniatures? The one I'm talking about, the one that you did that I saw at Monty the first year. It was that polar bear one. What was it called?
Let me just think.
On the chariot.
We did a lot of things from already on Chariot.
Yeah.
You think on
Yorick.
like dioramas?
Yorick. You did this one. I'm going to bring the picture up on the stream right now because this miniature, I saw this in the flesh at Monty and it absolutely blew my mind, like in terms of seeing it in the flesh, just how much colour there was.
I love when there is opportunity to see models live because it is so much different.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's diorama I did for Aradia. I really enjoyed because I love these characters, like little cute animals.
I saw this live and I remember I couldn't like process it in my brain how it worked, and I think to this day I still can't process how you guys paint, but this was just awesome when I saw it in the flesh. It made me want to pack up my models and put them back in my bag and just go home back to Australia.
No, yeah, we remember we met you first
Yeah,
time.
yeah, we were not eating ice cream, but you talked like you should come to Australia. I remember we were sitting in the park
Yep,
Yeah,
outside.
yep, I remember.
yeah.
I actually
Yeah.
I said on stream a few months ago that one of the memories I have from my very first Monty, I was there with my girlfriend. We were both feeling a little bit sick. You know, we weren't really didn't know too many people and stuff, and you guys saw me in the park, and you came over and you gave me a big hug and were like, "Oh, we're so happy to meet you," and it meant so much to me then to be so welcomed by you both. And yeah, I've talked about that before because it's one of my fondest memories of Monty is meeting you two and
Oh.
that moment.
Yeah, we really. I believe it's.
Well, I think that year at Monte, like that was just like we kind of also wanted like this is the chance where you can meet the persons and the artists all around the world.
Yeah.
And then we also noticed like a lot of separation between the people, and then we were like, what is happening? Like this is the maybe one
Yeah,
that was that year. And like we really wanted to kind of encourage also people to join and talk and share experience, because it was kind of even sad when we think like we were sitting one next to each other and like people were not talking or like not making any connection, which is sad because this is the only like you travel
That's
to
the reason we go to
yeah, so it's not about the miniatures, but like meeting and talking with other artists and painters and other just people who love miniatures.
Yeah.
And we have to preserve and kind of keep the positive thinking and everything. So that's why we are going on miniature show. We never went to a show to like take the medal or anything. It was never about that. It was mostly about the people.
So I guess what I'm going to say now is can be discussed on many different like terms, but in any case, like competition, that is competitive event. Of course, everybody come with their work. That some people are work a year on some project to come and compete. But again, if we make it all just about competition, it will lose the purpose of like big event. Then everybody will just send their works to compete.
Yeah.
And that is I really wish that the community come back to the terms of like just meeting. And I believe now after pandemic probably we will do that because nobody's seen each other in a long time. But at the latest events we've been, we kind of felt that separation, mostly because of a lot of new miniatures, a lot of course, it's all promotion of new miniatures and everything, and then we all lose ourselves, kind of. Because on the first event that we went, nobody knew us, and we had the best time ever because we were meeting people. Then some of them recognized us from social medias, and they knew our works, and then everybody were more kind of happier, or at least I have that in my mind, like the memory. And then every next year, it's more competitive. Like you can see that even in talks and all, and yeah, a bit you lose the interest. It's like
I think for me, when I first went to Monty, everyone was really welcoming and kind, but you could certainly see the people sort of splintering off and hanging out with different groups. The Spanish people stay with the Spanish people, and it was interesting.
Yeah, it was like for me it was very strange, especially like when I think it was on the ceremony people were like chanting, I don't know, Italy, Spain, blah blah blah. So we kind of have to expect that there is people from Serbia to chant Serbia. Come on, this is not a national competition, Or like.
Yeah, I understand it from I like supporting the colleagues. That's all great, but then we could be like the only two of the public.
I remember it was that year also when there was a kind of bar in the other building,
Hey, Mini
There was
Den.
like just a room with the tables, and everybody was sitting around like each group on different tables.
Oh, then you.
And then I stand up and I took the tables and kind of start joining them together because it was ridiculous. Come on, people, what's happening?
We just had Mini Den. Thanks for the subscription, mate. It's Alex and Marco from Craftworld. Mini Den's been kicking goals on Twitch recently. He's absolutely fucking awesome. Doing some box arts for companies and stuff. He's doing great stuff. So, what did you think about Crystal Dragon? I know it's only small, but I feel like we still have a really good community connection and vibe.
Yeah, we loved it. We loved it. So
It was also very like fast for us. We
Yeah.
kind of didn't have the chance, to stick around too much because there was no games to buy. There was like a lot of cool things to see. So it was hard to really take the whole spirit of the show.
Yeah.
And I think that's also why we like our first show is kind of for us in our mind probably the best one because then we were like kind of completely new into this. So we
not
can
really compete. It's not really working.
so we kind of had more time to just enjoy the show. But we had a great time at Crystal Dragon. Yeah.
We love the people we met. We love the entries. We love judging with you, Trent.
Yes, I'm very funny. Crystal Dragon's held in Canberra, and we just finished the preparations for next year. So it looks like we'll be going ahead next year, but you can never tell at the moment, can you? You can never tell what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, but hopefully you guys can, because I don't know how is the pandemic going on. there?
I mean,
Better.
we're sort of in a bit of a weird limbo state at the moment. We've got a lot of very few cases in most states in Australia. Canberra hasn't had a case in 13 months. Brisbane, until the last few days, hadn't had a case in months. But just recently, we've had a few of the Delta variants pop up in a few of the cities, and so currently Sydney's on a lockdown has been for about 3 weeks, 4 weeks. Brisbane's in a 2-week lockdown. Melbourne just came out of a lockdown. So, having said that, we've had so few deaths. I think we're at something like 25 deaths or maybe 30 deaths or something in the last 12 months. So we've hardly had any cases.
It's not good, but it's
Yeah, I understand what you mean. But the problem is because of that, we haven't really been getting vaccinated. No one's been really pushing vaccination. We've just been, whatever, no big deal. She'll be right, mate. Very Australian. And so we've only got about 15-16% vaccinated at the moment. So we're not going to be able to get out of lockdowns and this sort of cycle of things just stopping until we get vaccination and blah blah blah. So we're probably about 6 to 12 months away from not being concerned about the virus, but yeah, as it is right now, most places in Australia it's still sort of pretty normal. You can do most things, but it just depends. At the drop of a hat, we can go into lockdown. So.
Yeah,
I hope it's okay.
when we arrived at Sydney, then there was like a talk about the corona, and then
Nobody knew actually what was that.
Yeah.
when we were returning at the airport, there were so many people with masks.
Yeah, I felt uncomfortable not knowing what.
So we don't know. And when we returned, like there was, I think, maybe more than 10 days after that, it was a lockdown. So we were kind of lucky.
I think it was a bit more because they would call us to quarantine, and they didn't. So we weren't in the group of possibly threat.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Okay, I will leave Alexander for 1 minute with you.
The mic is mine.
G'day,
Trent
Scott
and I
Boogie.
will sing.
We'll talk about Marco. What about his mustache? No,
yeah.
Just thinking about last year, the timing of your trip was so crazy. Can you remember we had the bushfires in Australia at the time, and just everything was crazy, right? You got so many delayed flights and everything.
And storms, the bushfires, and after that the COVID. But it was so. I remember traveling, and then the storms, the airplane couldn't land. I was like, okay, if we survive this, we are still doing what we love, so it's okay.
Yeah.
And then we landed in Melbourne, and it was we could smell the
Smoke.
fire, the smoke. It was a bit scary knowing that all of this is still happening and not knowing what will happen. But then, even with all of that, we had some crazy adventures, and we remember traveling with you to Canberra.
Yep.
Or traveling to Goulburn and our delayed flight, and you're renting a car and all cool things.
We
So
actually had a lot
nice
of fun.
memories still.
So
Yes.
I'll run through what happened. So Alex and Marco came to Australia to teach some classes, and they were here for 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and so they spent
Yeah.
the trip. They were supposed to fly into Melbourne, and then the flight was going to divert to Brisbane, and their flight ended up getting delayed because back in 2020, at the start of 2020, there was really terrible bushfires all across Australia. Now, in most of the capital cities, there wasn't really any bushfire risk or any sort of danger, but there's obviously a pretty high smoke concentration and stuff. But that was about it. It was only really rural Australia that was really feeling the pinch, and it was still bad, but you know, for us it was manageable. And so the poor things, they got delayed by, I reckon, 10 hours or something, and they were so tired when they arrived in Brisbane, and I picked them up from the airport. They just looked like zombies. and then we were scheduled to fly to Canberra. They did a class in Brisbane, and then we were going to fly to Canberra the next weekend, and they were scheduled to fly with me down on a Thursday, and literally the day that we were going to fly down, thank you Rapid Transit, they actually cancelled all flights into Canberra because there was a fire directly at the front of the airport of Canberra. And so all of a sudden I was just like, well, what the fuck are we going to do? So I ended up booking flights to Sydney, and then hiring us a car, and then we drove from Sydney to Canberra. But it was awesome fun, right? We just had a fun road trip. We were talking about D&D the whole time. We were just having the best fun. So
Yeah, it was all great. I mean,
I remember when I told you not to put the bags in.
Mark, you're
We had to wait for them to get them back.
no, because we had like few accidents on airports already, and then Mark was skeptic about putting the bags.
I should have listened, mate. I should have
Because he knew
listened.
something will happen.
I should have listened to you. I should have
Yeah.
listened. I didn't.
But no, I'm still, even if maybe when you're tired and like traveling around a lot, it looks annoying at the moment. I still don't regret anything because it was. I would probably not even remember our traveling with airplane from Brisbane to Sydney if we didn't do this. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I love the memory. It was all good.
Like was Melbourne, right? Right, Melbourne.
Yeah.
Yeah, Melbourne to go to.
I'm almost gonna start a little rebellion. You know, people were joining me to like.
No, Marco, it looked like so they canceled our flight to Brisbane, and not only that, but Marco asked, "Will you cancel our flight?" And they're like, "No, just wait in line." And then immediately the line started like bulking, and then we were last in the line. And Marco asked, "Will you give us some information then what we will do until the morning?" And they didn't want it. And Marco said, "This is." Something like this is not okay, something like that. And then all the women from crowd said, "Amen." And I was like, Marco, don't start this.
Yeah, you know, because everybody was very, annoyed, but nobody spoke. And that was the first, voice, and then everybody joined.
Start a rebellion, mate. Burn down Melbourne Airport. That'd go down well, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, but we also met nice company there and had
And I think it was a good thing that we stick around because there was one lady with three or two daughters.
two daughters.
And she got like, she was moving out from, I don't know what country.
They're from
Oh, I think I remember you telling me about that.
From Tanzania. they are from Africa, but they lived in Tanzania and they're now moving to other city.
They're moving to Brisbane, I think.
And so they had like a half of the house with them. So
Yeah.
imagine like
10
painting.
languages.
And luckily for them, they were us to help them to bring all the stuff because they probably couldn't manage because, I mean,
Yeah,
there's
it
so
was
much
interesting.
stuff and it was so super heavy. I don't know how they think through that, but you know, in a way, it was good that
But
we
it was also
we
lucky for
delayed
us.
because we helped them. Later on, we also met up the next day. So,
To go to the
yeah,
airport
it's an
together.
adventure.
But you know, I still have one of the little girls on Snapchat.
Do ya? That's a
Yeah,
good
we're
story.
friends. She sometimes send me messages.
That's nice.
Because the kids now they doesn't use other social media, so
It's just
I get
Snapchat and
together.
TikTok these days, eh? Hey, we've got an important question from the chat. Now I need you to answer this question very seriously. Do you use matte varnish?
Well,
That's very, very.
Well,
serious
I
question.
use wet varnish mostly for if I glue like the grass and there's like
Blue visible.
glue visible, then I use varnish. But like I kind of try to spray the varnish over minis, and I find out that they kind of lose the vibrancy of the colors.
Yeah.
So and it kind of have like a almost white.
It's like it's like you overlapped a white layer
Yeah, so
filter, but not so much. And yeah, I would recommend using that for some very glossy or effect that you maybe don't want to look like that, and the matte varnish would be helpful. But we don't really prefer using it. I think it destroyed two of my projects. Not really destroyed it, but I didn't like it after varnishing, so I stopped.
I'll tell you why the chat's asking this question, right? Because it's a funny story. So, on a Facebook group, there was a thread where a novice painter came on and he was asking the thread and he was like, "Oh, hey guys, I just want to know, can I use matte varnish on my models? You know, how should I use it? This sort of stuff." And this guy came onto the thread and he replied to the thread and he said, "No professional painter uses matte varnish." That's what he said. He said, "No professional painter uses matte varnish." And I said, "Well,
professional.
look mate, I don't want to get into a fight here, but are you sure that no professional painter uses matte varnish? Because I know for a fact that Colwell uses matte varnish. You know, there's a variety of painters I know that use it, right?"
I think Kirill told us that he's using
Yeah.
matte varnish.
Yeah.
I can't remember if he. Yeah, but I think he told us.
The reason right now I don't find to use. I mean, if the
paints are
paint,
matte, yeah.
So if the paint is glossy,
Probably.
I will use the matte varnish. But if I see because we use the scale 75,
Yeah,
they're super matte.
they're quite
you
matte anyway.
Can get
Yeah.
matte on that.
So this guy replied with this comment, right? And I've never forgotten this comment. And it was like 3 years ago, and I still laugh at it. He goes, I said, "Are you sure that no professional painter uses matte varnish?" And the way he responded, he goes, "Alfonso Giraldez stayed at my house, so I think I would know." That was his argument. Alfonso stayed at his house, so he knows everything about professional miniature painters because Alfonso stayed at his house. And I just started laughing. I was like, "Okay, mate, okay."
I mean, it's a lot of okay, you can talk with one person or a few persons, but then this will never apply to all painters and all artists.
Exactly. Everyone's got their own approach. Everyone's got their own style, and that's part of the thing that makes miniature painting so exciting and interesting. Is there isn't one way to do things. There's just
one of the main things, like when they ask me how to kind of get better into painting, is for me it's always like try to find the way that suits you the best, because if you do something you don't like, then you can never advance in it, or you will spend time doing something you hate.
Yep.
You need to your place, and then you can advance because then you know that you're spending hours doing something you enjoy, and you will get better just by doing it.
Yep.
So that's the reason. I saw like when I also started miniature painting, and I found out that some things that I was doing was like too annoying. It takes too much time, and it didn't really give me the result I wanted. So I kind of explored, and for that reason, I also don't want, like, when I do some tutorials, I don't want to say everything what I do. I want some of the followers, because it's not just a tutorial, it's a lesson. Because if you explore by your own, then you will find out. You will learn from your mistakes and from the things you managed to do. For example, you now know that you can achieve this very bright contrast when you add, the underpainting darker, and then you just slap stronger colors above, and then you have this strong contrast. And then you will remember that. Or next time when you don't want to do that, you will know what to avoid. It's a thing how I learned, and how I like to show to other people, so how can they learn
Yep.
from it.
There's
No,
there's,
that's
there's no
always
one way
like-
to do things, right? There's many ways to skin a cat, and I think the reason why that dude frustrated me so much, and why I replied to him, is just because it there isn't any rules that you need to follow. It's like, try stuff, see what works for you. Like, I use matte varnish because I like to have the consistent finish on the model, and I like to use a lot of different paints. Kohler uses matte varnish because he uses so many layers, and he has so many mixtures of mediums and stuff in there, that the paint goes very shiny. So, but there's people that don't use matte varnish, and those people are awesome as well. It's just like, find your way of doing things. Just
Yeah.
Yeah, the reason also why I like matte paints is that help me, see what I'm doing, because if
Exactly.
it's too glossy, then I kind of lose the sight because it's reflecting, so I don't see what I'm doing.
Yep.
It's controlling the paint, and also when we talk about professional painting and uh, professional acrylics or paints or varnishes and mediums, and it's all, so you can be like top professional and using just like three paints and don't have any medium or varnish or anything. It's just your skill, knowledge, and experience,
yeah,
because you are following some path that is suitable for you as a person. That's why you are one artist and there is other artists. We don't all have to be the same. Also, we encourage our students when we teach that you take all these lessons, but you try something of your own, add, change, experiment. Because it is very important. Of course, everybody is a different type of learner, so we would love to see the same exact results, but also then going from that, because that is the experience you gain, and from that you can move further and try something on your own, because with that you will get more insight. And
Yep.
it's always like we're asked, can you give us just the scheme of paints? Just tell us what paints. Yeah, and we're like, no, there is no recipe. And even if you use the same colors as we know, and we always encourage a lot of mixing of the paints, and a lot of also the wet blending, all the overlapping layers that we want to show how it all works. We want people to get a bit of different tonal values, so something different, because it will show you how you can use this in your advantage. Because you're the main thing that produces. The mediums are just there to help you.
yep,
Yeah, and we all get stuck in like, should I use this brand? Should I use this? I mean, we recommend.
Like I found out that a lot of times that I got some cool results is because I have those paints on my palette.
Yeah.
I was too lazy to put like a paint that I wanted, so I kind of mix and
Yeah.
match. And then I got all these cool tones that I don't know how did I get them, but they're there.
Yeah.
So it really also depends how, at that moment you build the whole thing. For example, also when I'm, like you said, like you're doing now non-metallics. And when I do non-metallics, sometimes I prefer to have different palettes and changes, because then I kind of lose the you know,
The fun.
I don't want all non-metallics to look the same on the whole model.
Yeah.
And sometimes this kind of change of palette really helps you because then you are trying to achieve the similar result, but you're getting something different, and it's same but different in a way, and it looks much better. So you have a more natural feeling to it.
Yeah.
Natural variation. I talk a lot about natural variation because it's one of the things that you can't ever replicate. It's just sometimes the best results come from when you just have really cool, tones and just little things. Like I'll grab bits of colors from my palette here and just be like, I want a bit of that, I want a bit of that, and you never tell. You can never tell what's going to come out. So
Yeah.
When we started appearing on social media as miniature painters, when we started with miniature painting, so the first introduction to that was like, okay, there are some techniques for painting. There are miniatures. You have these brushes, and you can do like these techniques to achieve results. But then we quickly realized that this is boring, and we want to paint how we want to paint because we're also painters. So it came a bit naturally. But that's all okay. But then I remember like posting from the start of joining this community, we had that something that we still have. Sometimes it's a bit harder to bring it out there, but we have the need to share some insights, some progress, some ideas. I don't know why. I really like sharing, and at least if somebody catches the meaning behind the post or the idea that I'm talking about, I always like that. So I remember posting something that said, "This is my progress on painting gold," and then I would get the comment like, "This is brass," or something like that, and like, "No, it's gold." And they're like, "No, it's I don't know, copper." And then people would start arguing. Before we started talking about the ambiences, like gold can be even pink, I mean, there is like the pinkish.
here is an example of
It's
non-metallic
so many
metal,
things that could be done.
different tones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see that magenta really, really nicely popping in the shadows, so I like that. Yeah.
I talk a lot on here and just like in general about just the attitude towards painting. That like there's people out there are like, this is the way you do things, this is how you have to do it, this is the rules, and I think it's just it gets in the wrong mindset, right? The rules are to have fun. That's it. There's no other rules. Just fucking do stuff that's fun. And if something is fun for you, but other people don't enjoy it, who gives a shit? Like, it doesn't matter. And I think for a long time I was really struggling with painting because I was like, I've got to be, I've got to be super smooth and learn how to do this and become a golden demon winner. And actually, I don't really want to do that. I just want to have fun painting heaps of cool models and that's as soon as I start doing that, it's been the best.
I'm glad I don't see as much of the smooth, like need to be smooth so much in these times. But I believe on competitions it would still be like searching for the smoothest result to give the award to. I mean, it will depend on the judges. That's why we're always different judges out there. But the point when we started painting also, and coming from the artist perspective, when we say non-metallic metal, and we say like we need to give these terms to make things easier understandable, but like what is non-metallic? It's still painting like anything else. When you paint the letter, you still paint. When you paint metal, you still paint. In miniatures, there are some technical colors like metallics, and that's okay. But that's just the effect of the color. It's not. I mean, you can manipulate a bit to create even more realistic look. But then with non-metallic or with actual painting, you are achieving this. You are representing something captured in the moment. And you can give it some dynamic or you can give it stillness. It's all okay, but it's your interpretation, yes. And what I didn't like is like that searching for a super smooth surface, not because of like spending hours and hours of smoothing something up. That's also really cool and it requires skill. But what I didn't like is make everything look like the plastic before it was painted. There wasn't even too much textures included in that moment. everything was super smooth and everything looked plastic. Metal looked plastic, materials, fabrics looked plastic, leather also skin.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that that stopped.
Yeah.
And yeah, on our work, when we started painting, we didn't realize that at the moment. It was a bit more smoother in some point because we were using even different colors. They were maybe even thinner and all, but still we weren't careful with making surfaces smooth, not because of the trend or not following trend, but we didn't really realize we were doing that.
Yeah.
And now we realize how important was that for our growth, because we didn't focus on satisfying the community, but we just follow what we want to do.
Yeah.
And
What-
what I wanted to,
Sorry.
yeah, I mean it's I'm like late to get into back on the topic. Well, my experience with historical
Yeah.
painting, I didn't know that existed, you know, because I was thinking, what is the historical painting? So I did a Teutonic Knight,
Yeah.
and like the project is called like my idea of this Teutonic Knight is like the knight fighting on the snow, and the idea was it's called the last sight of the sun. So there was like a sun is setting down, and you get all these purple lights and oranges and stuff. And I wanted to show that, like I wanted to show the story, and also like because he's swinging the sword, I can imagine the guy in front of him is the last thing he saw is this night and the last sight of the sun, and he's dead, you know. And that's what I wanted to capture. So I painted this night in different ambience than the usual. And when I placed on the competition, people was like, "This is not historical. This is fantasy." And then in some competitions, some judges, you know, discussed, but in some was just, you know, out of the category because of that.
Imagine doing that
Now-
to Kirill now, though, right? Imagine saying to Kirill, "No, there's too much ambience in your historical figure, Kirill Knave. You can fucking be disqualified." You get laughed out of the room.
Well, maybe at that time it will be like that because it was I think my second competition, and at that time people didn't really try anything new. Like the most Crusader knights I saw were like in the desert with yellows and whites, just, you know, regular stuff. And I think I think I made a good thing. I didn't thought about like historical painting. I just wanted to paint this
Yeah.
scene. And when I brought it to the competition, I got very mixed reactions. And like I saw like a bunch of people talking about that and that night that is like fantasy, but should it stay in fantasy or like move back to historical? Eventually, on some competition, it's like I saw that model flying from different places. You know, some judges moved them to fantasy, some to open, some to historical. But it's good, you know. I think that the kind of the goal was to show that there is different versions of historical.
But historical also would be just, it should be like a something that represents history, not like to affect painting. It shouldn't affect painting.
Yeah.
Don't get me started on historical, right? Because I've entered historical models, painted in my style, and just been fucking disqualified basically by the judges for not
That's
painting in
bad.
the way.
That's bad justice.
Yeah.
That's bad judging because you cannot say like, and I still don't like that. Like, it's the mindset that was there. Maybe these people would think different if the talk about it was wider. And this topic, if we got it out there, but I wouldn't start any topic even nowadays because no, just no. And but the thing is, painting, for example, trends, Nazis, could be historical figures one day. And just go out there and stand on the sunset. You will be all like pink and yellow and all of the colors out there. And please don't tell me that it's not realistic. I mean, why is that fantasy? I like the feeling of the fantasy, but it's the real thing.
Yeah.
And that's
By the way,
it's about painting
Yeah.
painting with a story, right? Yeah, go Marco, sorry.
Yeah, one question. do you see a face on your place where you test your airbrush?
Yeah,
You see, you draw a face.
I did. Yeah.
So move. You can see. Can you see two eyes, a nose, and a mouth? Oh, cool. Yeah.
I did
So
that
it was
before.
not just me. Okay.
Okay, I saw.
Okay.
I saw it a bit differently. Now it's not so there, but I saw the gorilla, like the silverback there.
I did it on purpose before. I was demonstrating, my small airbrush and
Okay.
how fine detail you can go and.
Yeah, that's the creative eye catching the shapes.
Yeah, we've had
but
this discussion about
actually,
historical figures a lot because this is a great example of a historical figure. I'm really enjoying painting this, right? Like it's an awesome model. But if this wins a medal at the competition later on in the month, which is a historical competition, I would be shocked. I would be absolutely shocked. This is very much in my style of sketchy, rough transitions and highlights and all that sort of stuff. It's not in keeping with the traditional official way of painting this dude. So, but for me it's about as you've said, the ambience, the feeling that the model's in. Some of the best. Kirill's the master at it, right? Like Kirill will paint a historical figure and he will do crazy lighting and he'll do crazy stuff, and it's just crazy because it's
but
Kirill.
even Kirill, Kirill is really great guy to talk to because when he starts explaining the idea behind the piece, and he will tell you, okay, so I will tell one good and one bad thing, but that's changed, I think.
Yeah.
Because when I talked with Kirill one time, I asked him about some armor that was more kind of a bluish tone, but I imagined like the bust that I represented, it was the Spanish conquistador, and I imagined him on the sea. So I also made his beard a bit more like glossy looking because they put oils in the beards to protect from the sun and all. And I did more of the bluish and somewhere warm armor, like ambient. And never mind. And then when I talked to Kirill, he was like, "Yeah, but if there is a grass, and then the green would be there. But if there is like a bench or something next to it, and there is like the sheep or this or this," and then he wanted to say that maybe the armor couldn't really be blue.
Yeah.
And I didn't understand it at the time, but I was trying to like take it in my brain because he talked about a lot of things that I liked, and then at one point that why it shouldn't be blue. But then after some time, I changed this figure many times and I experimented with it, and at the end I still didn't like it that much, but I think it wasn't the figure I really enjoyed that much in painting at that point. Maybe nowadays it would be different, but never mind that. I see Kirill now progresses. I mean, it's not now today, but in the past few years, he progresses with the pieces that are super realistic with all the tiny textures trying to represent something almost exactly how it is in real life. But then he started bringing the ambience more and more.
Yeah.
I saw something with the sunset. I saw that more thinner layers. I saw that more of like watercolor effect. Not so much he maybe refined it more because he's really into details. But then he still tries to bring a bit of that artistic look into
But
it.
I think that the main reason is to keep stuff interesting, because you cannot always repeat.
But I think he also likes it now.
Yeah, but like I think he liked it, even the other stuff he did. But it's just a moment. Like sometimes I would like more to paint more in sepia tone. Sometimes I would like to have more vibrant colors. So
don't say that you always have to.
yeah, so it's always keeping the mood. Sometimes you don't feel like painting something very colorful. Sometimes you just want. And I got also questions like people ask me why this model is not colorful like you usually do.
Yeah.
And I say like I don't think about it. I just sit down, pick the thing that I want to paint right now with them and just do it. Sometimes it works the other way around. I don't know. It just it's the painting is the things that it's always progresses.
What I want to say is like following something more than what you usually do, and I like that with Kirill. He really brings the stuff further every time he experiments. So he's like, I know I'm good at this, but I will not stuck at that. I will experiment. I will bring something more. And I think that's after so many years in this community, it's still special to be able to stay like focused on your progress and just grow.
Especially when you're a box art painter, especially when you get paid to do stuff in a way as quickly as you can, to be able to still be passionate about growth and development. I mean, look at Masculine's, right? In the last few months, he's basically retired from box art painting just because he felt like he wasn't getting to develop himself and experience what he wanted to experience as a painter. So
I think the one reason for that, like why we also talk about painting less box arts and less stuff that we need have, like we have the time limit. But it's not only that. There's other thing that draws your energy is the all things planning with the company. You have to post that at that time. You can't show that at that time. So
it turns
sometimes
into something big.
for example, I have now 2 or 3 of the works that I painted. One is last year, maybe so a year ago. I painted one thing, and there is also one thing that I painted 2 months ago. So now I still didn't post the photos of those. And even when you post the photos, you don't really feel like, oh, look at this is my new work. It's not. It's a year ago.
Yeah,
And
I'm so happy with it.
and sometimes that can be also a bit,
demoralizing.
And not only that, I think working as an artist nowadays, it can be very stressful because, as I said, the community grows, and that is all great because it's progressing. But then people start looking at you like an how to call it? Okay, like a worker, of course, for them. But then they commission you to work, and then it's like you will share this with your public, and that is very expected. But then the companies would somehow put the order of things, represent you in a way that maybe you don't like to be represented or something like that. It's like watching the numbers sometimes. And so, and for example, as an artist, you don't like that. You're not like a social media person only because you just share your stuff on social media. So you're artist behind all of that, and you want your work to be shown as it is, and you want your character to be represented, and then not your page and your numbers.
So I mean, it's an interesting conversation, the whole being a professional miniature painter and how much of that relies on your ability to manage your social media. As dumb as it sounds, if you're not good at managing your social media, you're not going to get the interest from big miniature companies because they're looking for you not just for your skill set but also for the exposure that they can get from you. So being a good miniature painter is about being good at promoting yourself, promoting your work.
Example, us two, we never tried to make our pages.
Well,
I mean, we would like to, but
if I never wanted to do this as a profession.
I'm guilty of it.
So it kind of just grew on its own. It became as it we didn't really push it, but it's we kind of have a natural way of just.
Yeah, and it goes in kind of waves, I guess, because sometimes the page is more active. Like the people on the page are more active. They write to us, they react, they write comments, and sometimes it's very like quiet, calm. And we don't know how it works, why it happens, because we are not so much into social medias. But we just try not to think about that too much, but to work on what we like. If I have something to share on story, I will share it. If we have post to make, we will make it. If not, we will just not do anything about it.
It can be. I think there is a positive and negative stuff, and for me, it can be surprisingly positive when, for example, I paint something, in a couple of hours, and people got super excited, and then I got, motivated to do more stuff.
Yeah, when you get the reactions.
That can be so it can have, help you. You want to finish this work and just, want to publish now this photo because people just want to see it finished or something like that. So there is a a positive thing.
we have in the community. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good thing.
So
Yeah, yeah.
when I talk to people about, because I haven't got as many Instagram followers as you, right? But I've got a few Instagram followers these days, and people always ask me, "Oh, but how did you get your followers that high?" And I said, I didn't do anything. I just posted pictures
Yeah.
of my models that I was painting. Like that was it. I was just like excited about posting my painted models, and that was all I did. And I just kept doing it. I just kept posting, and I think it's all about just consistency of being excited about what you're doing and posting about it.
And I think it's also like it's better way to gain community and people that appreciate your work that way, because you know it's real.
Yeah.
You didn't like try to bring people to, I don't know why, but you know it's real. It's also for the Patreon, for example. When we decided to start, we just thought, okay, we will invite people that want to come to our online teaching platform, and we will work the way we work. We will give things. We will show these new approaches and techniques that we kind of adjusted to fit people that will learn from us. But not only, like when I say adjusted, we still teaching the things that we usually do, but we need to make steps.
Yeah.
Because when you paint, you know, you will not have the exact steps. You will change things many times. So that is a bit harder with tutorials, because you want to explain everything. So with lives also, we like to show that more naturalistic look. But also we had that in tutorials earlier, and now we are managing to make them a bit shorter to lose that like too much information in one thing style. Because we really like to give too much information, so that's good, but it's overwhelming. So we're just trying to simplify that.
Keeping it shorter
But,
allows you to just keep people's interest. I mean, everyone's got so little time these days. Having something in a shorter format that you can just absorb and then go away and practice.
Yeah, it's also, I realize it gives you more inspiration to actually try something, because
Yeah.
if it's too much, people just look at the video or read the PDF and they just say, okay, this is nice, but then you don't have the inspiration to really try it.
Yeah.
Because there is a lot of things to do. So easier, but still trying to experiment with it and get some cool results. Not only like doing something that is super simple. That's also boring, I think.
Yeah.
So it's like getting something cool. It's the moment when you learn a lot. Maybe even if you make mistakes, it could help you, because with that you will realize what was the struggle or what didn't work well. And if you don't realize, I mean, you can make many mistakes, why not? Everything can be repainted, overpainted, and so on. I don't like making too much like fuss about it. If I don't like something, I will just repaint it.
What do you think is the best piece of advice you've been given about miniature painting that's shaped you into the painters that you are? Like, what do you think is the one thing that you would say to someone, this is the best piece of advice I was given? Wampa, yes, I'm going to enter this in Queensland Model Hobby Expo in a few weeks' time, mate. This is the plan.
But I think I already told that, like, to find the stuff, like you're kind of trying to find your approach and then just grow it from there. Find the stuff that kind of it's pleasurable enough for you to keep on doing.
Yeah.
Because if you are doing something you don't like, then eventually you will start hating the process.
Even more, yeah.
Yeah.
So the best thing is to explore different things, try different techniques, find the one that you like the most, and then from there you can grow them.
Yeah.
If it's your thing to do very super smooth, continue doing that. Don't think what other community thinks about it. It's your thing. If you like super brushstrokey or super expressionistic, do it. Just continue doing it. Eventually you will become better, because try to study the stuff around you in real life, study the other works, the illustrations, there's a lot of things that are, watch the movies, play the video games. It's funny how, for example, when I create the character in video games, I spend so many hours, rotating, because if there's like a two source lighting on that, I will, study how, for example, the skin of a character is like, even though the skin have like a natural skin tone, but because of the lightning, the half of the face is completely white. And then think about how can I turn this into miniature? Because if I place like completely white highlights on the face, people will say, "Oh, this is not skin. This is non-metallic." But it is skin. You just have to kind of research, put effort in there and think outside the box. Think that it's yeah, think outside the box. That would be the best way to say it.
There's a question in the chat, and I'll let you guys answer it because I have an opinion. But so the question is, do you think that everything has been done, or will there be new techniques, new things that are experimented on in this hobby?
Well, the techniques, they are basically combination of different techniques. Every technique have something from maybe the existing one. You can go
Back
maybe
in time. Yeah.
like you can use this technique in different ways. So is it everything already existing? I don't think so. There is always something new probably, and there will be like
New ideas in miniature will come. Probably it's always coming into. It will be like trend, like how to say. This is like modern now.
yeah, the
This
thing,
is a fashion.
thing with miniatures, it's next to painting, there is a big field on, like as we said, 3D printing. So you can have, I don't know, transparent resin to print with. Then you can do all the crazy stuff with that. Then there is like backdrops. There is even maybe some interaction with the models. I really like. I have to say, one of the models that when I was at the beginning of my painting, that I really like is from what's it called?
Mavi.
No. The work from Pica,
Rafa Pica.
Rafael Pica, the one with robot that you can take a selfie.
The Robot's Workshop,
Oh,
Gui's
yeah,
Gui's Robot Workshop. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. So that is the field that you can go in. You can try to make more stuff like that, which is amazing.
That stopped for some reason. I believe because we're all
Like in last couple of years, what I found out that we are doing, and I think a lot of other professional painters are doing, is because of the time and effort and maybe the way you earn from it. They try to keep things very fast. Don't spend too much time on base. Just paint the model from the kit, and it kind of lose the way of uniqueness. Everybody, it is still in painting, but then the whole idea was maybe not represented as unique as it could be. You can bring to another level, but because of time, and maybe it's also comes to the social media, maybe it won't be appreciated as just nicely painted kit. Just take the original kit and paint it, and you will probably get even more appreciation for that. Maybe.
It's like who likes to see something different. For example, somebody will appreciate seeing just the painting and they don't care about other things. Somebody will appreciate seeing the diorama interaction, the whole story behind it. My idea is you can tell a story with painting only. You don't need everything else, but you can put everything else and create it even more fabulous.
Yeah.
A lot of dioramas back in the years that were interactive in some way.
Yeah.
But
Well, majority, if we look at the time span, like majority of the stuff I convert, I take like triple time to convert things than to actually paint them. So.
yeah, that's true.
I spend more time preparing models for painting than actually painting them, and it's rare, but it is.
I think there's still so much more to explore. I mean, I think you just look back in probably in the last 10 to 15 years. I mean, I could probably rattle off 10 things. Backdrops. you never used to see backdrops in miniature painting, and now there's a backdrop every second miniature you see from a professional. And then the way that people are incorporating backdrops, like so Alfonso with his Hellboy, there's a backdrop with the three-dimensional object coming out of the backdrop. That's an example of things that are just different and new. The way that people have interpreted object source lighting. Victoria Lamb was the first person that brought that into miniature painting, and then
But there are also all techniques that already exist in painting.
Exactly. So it's not necessarily that we're innovating in painting terms, but I do think that what we're seeing is new approaches to miniature painting, different approaches to miniature painting that we don't see. People are so constrained by the Games Workshop background, the upbringing that we've all had. This is, you do your shade, you do your highlight, you do your wash, all that sort of stuff. And I think we're starting to see a lot more people approach things in different ways. And I'm excited to see how 3D printing does influence what we end up doing in the future, because I think it's going to influence a lot.
Yeah, and for example, because we are now teaching all the techniques and gave them the names and everything, it's just our regular painting that we, as we said, put in the steps and give the names, techniques. And we get messages from some of our students, like, we saw painting similar to what we learned at you, but they called it differently or something like that. And we're like, okay, I mean, it could be called differently. It could be used by others as well. It will be even used even more. For example, as it is taught and learned and maybe shown somewhere else, and maybe some person will see that and get new ideas. Because even when we started painting miniatures, we got the recognition, and I used to talk about that. It's because they were so different than everything else on the competition, that we didn't even plan to go because we didn't knew about the competition. But then we just took our commission pieces that we were doing for, it was our first commission, to say, and we brought them there. And even if we didn't realize at the moment, when we look at on the shell of other paint miniatures, they were so much different from everything else, because we were new, the trend existed, and everybody painted something similar. And nowadays, I believe when we come to the competition, all the works will still have some same line in it. Something you can't avoid it. It's like you all like something, and then everybody will follow that step.
Well, the Spanish guys are a great example, right? Like all of the Spanish painting, it has a really similar feeling. It has a really similar use of color and technique. And it's almost cultural. Like, you can see the Spanish have a specific style, the French have a specific style, the British guys have a specific style, and that's why it's so refreshing when you see someone like yourselves come out of left field doing stuff that nobody's doing, completely different. And I think there's so much more we can do with miniature painting that we've barely scratched the surface. Maybe we're just rehashing stuff that painters have been doing for years and years and a long, long time. But I think because of the three-dimensional format, I think the opportunity exists that we can do things that have never been done before.
Yeah.
Well, I think the idea with lighting can definitely go in many different directions if you are, to say, bold enough to pursue it, because it's not natural. Like when you do a 2D painting, you can do like a highlight that is hitting only the edge of a person, but on the model it's difficult. It's different. You have to explain completely. I remember your talks. For example, if the light hits from above, then maybe the back of the mini should be completely dark or black, something. Because you have to explain. And in miniatures,
I'll just show you some of my models. Here you go. Look, there's no lighting on the back of this, mate. That's all in shadow. That's all in the dark. You can't see that shit.
Yeah.
Nice ambient.
That's also an idea for my art as well.
And one thing I need to add to the topic is because we already mentioned nationality painting, so I wouldn't agree like the Spanish style, the Italian style, and other styles because nowadays we are all online and we are sharing worldwide works. You ask other painters, and everybody is influenced by everyone.
True.
So yeah,
But I still think that if you go and look at Ruben Martinez, David Aroba, and all the guys out of Big Child, they've all got a very similar style, and then there's been a lot of Spanish painters that have followed that style.
Yeah, but also, for example, before you see the works from Big Child nowadays, you can see their previous works, and of course, people follow that because they learned from that method. But what influenced them to start painting like that? It was the growth in miniature painting, and it was more leaning toward the illustration style and more of traditional painting as it started becoming more and more brought into miniature world. So it's not like, of course I agree that it had influence, but also they have influence. And also the other, let's call it schools have influence, but if we would look it only like that, everybody would teach their own community also, and then it would, in my mind, it would decrease.
Which brings us back to why it's so important at events like Monty to go and integrate in other communities and meet other people and see other styles, because we need to have that exposure. The internet's been really good for helping people see different styles and different techniques, but yeah, do you think there's been like a homogenization of everyone's styles and stuff, approach has been starting to all look the same? Do you think that's happened because of the internet?
Well, not the same, but like there is definitely different styles.
It's a trend with colors. I mean, even today when somebody sees something colorful and they say, is this Craftworld style, for example, and I said, no, people used to think that the Craftworld style is something colorful because in the time when we appeared, nothing was too colorful to say like that. But we brought something that sometimes if we would paint cartoony miniatures, we would paint them more colorful, more saturated. And if we would paint something different, we would still have colors because coming from the art perspective, you wouldn't like put the black and brown of pre-made paints and like blue from the tube, let's say primary blue or something, but we always mixed because we didn't think about it. And nowadays it's normal. On every piece you would see created black color, created brown color, mixed with a lot of different colors in the shadows visible, because when we started painting miniatures and get into painting community, we had like 50-50 people that likes it and people that don't like it, because they said this is not realistic, this don't work, this will not work on bust, it was so much.
So one I would say no, it's very important thing to learn from it is that for example on some of our first competition we got comments from some painters that are long into this community saying that our works are too abstract, not convincing enough, too colorful, and they kind of don't like it. And I say like that's okay. I mean it is your opinion. But then today I see those same people trying to achieve the colors, talking about the illustration, talking about the kind of a way to express yourself through brushstrokes. And I said like, what is happening?
But the comments that we got in that time was like, you can't put illustration into 3D miniatures. And nowadays we have all the cool illustration works brought into miniature world.
Yeah.
So you will paint with inspiration from digital art, and you will paint the mini that is sculpted by inspiration of the digital art, and it growed so much from there. You know, it wasn't like that. I mean, it's
so it really depends. If we want to expand and kind of get more techniques, we need to think about our mindset. So maybe there is like time. We need time. I mean, for those people like the person that told us that our works don't work, but now they suddenly like this because the whole
It's a
community,
trend.
it's a trend thing. Maybe a couple of years back it wasn't trend, so
Maybe
they
a couple of years from now, everything will change to more some different style that is
Yeah.
more popular.
You think people will start doing 500 millimeter dioramas of Camelot? Do you reckon? You reckon they'll become a thing people do?
Yeah, it will be a thing, definitely. I think now also as we said, with 3D printing, where you can print the whole scenery stuff and everything. I was thinking like when I was doing kind of Beck's diorama scene with Gotrek and Felix, so I had to build like a entrance of the sewers, and I spent days on building like a little wall and I don't know some sewer entry and stuff like that. And at that moment, I think, oh, this is so great! Like I managed to create this, and now I can basically find hundreds of different STL files to just print this
Yep.
sewer entrance that I was spending days, building it. So there is always a trend and difference. Some stuff made sense at that time, but now they don't make.
Yeah.
So yeah, the painting will change definitely, and the approaches.
And the styles of miniature.
But it's a good thing. It progress, and it's important that all the painters kind of
I mean, just to keep everything like positive and open-minded.
open mind,
Not trying to.
because the stuff like the Monet, for example, paintings. Maybe if they were not accepted by the other painters like art, it won't be an art. So the community had to be supportive
Of
of
other.
new and other and different things. We have to embrace that, because it's a kind of fluid thing like language. We have, for example, in Serbia, so people will say, oh, we kind of use a lot of English now and stuff like that. But I said it's a normal thing because it's fluid. It's about to change. It's always progressing in some direction. That is also with painting, because it's a live thing.
Well, look at social media as an example, right?
Yeah. So you get all the
TikTok and
terms, like, for
fucking
example, you are a gamer
Snapchat.
and you get. Sorry, we lost you.
I was just going to say, like social media in my day was you'd send someone a message on Messenger, and now people are TikToking and they're doing Snapchats and they're doing, I don't know, there's some other thing that people are doing now. I don't understand any of it, right? But that's just change.
Yeah.
Yeah, the thing now with internet, sometimes it can also be overwhelming because people are more and more into like public discussions.
Yeah.
And it's okay to discuss something, but it's endless discussions of two sides in a war on comments. And for me, I think I haven't used Facebook for a long time now. Everything that I post on Facebook is just shared from Instagram.
Yeah.
Because on Instagram it's a bit safer, not so much. There are still, you can get messages from people that just doesn't have.
Do you get, have you got any dick pics, Alex? Has anyone sent you any dick pics?
No, please. I don't get that. I'm a miniature painter.
I'll send you one later on.
Maybe a miniature picture. Oh my god. No, it's for example, you are sharing things and you can get people that so okay, this is not on platform itself, but when you mentioned the followers and everything, I remember when we were meeting one person that came to us to say he is a fan.
Yeah.
But then he was also asking, like, how do you get the followers? So how many posts do you have on Instagram? And then I realized he's asking this a bit like angry. And I didn't realize that at the time, because you're approaching me to be angry at me because we have followers on our platform where we work and post and share things.
Almost every day.
Yeah. And then it was like trying to decrease the value of our works and our posts, like trying to.
Yeah, so he's like, maybe a couple of months professional painter, and so he was trying to see how come that he didn't get.
The same as we do.
Yeah.
Something like that.
And
And you can get that in the messages, maybe sometimes backhanded, like not saying directly, but I mean, you can read between the lines. We don't really like get into that, but it could be hurtful. Like you're building the platform, you're building the community. Everything you post there is something. Sometimes it's personal because you have people that really appreciate your stuff, and you're getting to sharing more and more. And then you get somebody trying to like push you down, something like that.
Hmm.
And it's social media, so that will always happen because everybody can write to you.
have the option to send your message. I mean,
If anything.
I had a guy the other week on my Instagram, and he sent me a message. I'm not going to send you a dick pic, Alex. That was only a joke, mate. Don't worry.
Miniature style.
I had this guy, and he came on and said, "You don't care about your subscribers, so I'm unfollowing you. I've had enough." And on the post that he posted that on, it was one where I'd said, "I'm giving away this model to one of my subscribers." So sometimes people's perspective on things is just vastly different to yours, and the things that they value is different. And that's, I think, the best decision I ever made was to stop following things on social media. The only things I follow on social media are my friends and people that I'm really inspired by, people that I want to, be more like, whether that's miniature painting or, sports people. There's not many sports people I follow, but just as soon as you remove all of that, because you spend so much time just scrolling through shit that isn't just not relevant to your life, it's just spend your time doing things that you're passionate about, that you care about, and talk to your friends and the people that matter, and forget about commenting on random news stories where, mate, it's just the fucking peanut gallery on there. So just idiots having arguments about stuff that doesn't matter. So I think, just take social media out of your life. I use it because for me, it's not a business, right? But this is something that I've been working on for a long time as a part of my my life. I'm passionate about painting models. I'm passionate about sharing that stuff with people. So, but it's just so much negativity around social media. The less contact you have with it, the better I feel.
Yeah, we don't really. We are not a part of any discussion or anything, and even that it's just like things that comes with the medias and all, but we just follow what we want to do, post, and trying to be helpful to everybody who appreciate our works and want to learn from us. And
my golden rule is just don't be a fuckwit, right? That's it. That's it. Just don't be a fuckwit, and you can't go wrong.
Yeah, and I believe just trying to for all people that are getting tired with these things and getting into these things, they just try to follow because you can really make this as your personal space, something that you enjoy, because that should be it, and follow people that you like seeing posts from, interact with them, because that is boost with this. As Marco said, we like getting positive feedbacks because it means we're doing good thing. And every time you work a lot and then somebody writes that they appreciate that, of course you will feel even better, and you will want to do more. It's one way of supporting the artist that you like, because even if it doesn't look like much, it is.
Yeah.
And that's why I always like to always support and comment nicely and do nice things.
Well, I think the best recipe.
I feel better when I do.
If you can't say anything nice, then better not say anything at all. Because I find a lot of things like comments like not on our works, but like what I see on other people. Like some person maybe don't even ask for a feedback or anything, but then they say like a lot
like attacking.
So a lot of bad things about some other people work, what they should or what they shouldn't do. I mean, relax. It's painting.
Is this why you guys never post on my post? Is because you don't have anything nice to say? Is that why?
We do like your post.
Maybe we don't. No,
It's because you think I'm a shit painter. Just admit it. Just admit it. You think I'm shit house, you hate my work, and you don't like me.
No, it's like that. Like usually it's not having time, but Trent, when we have something nice to say and we see your thoughts, we will do it.
All right. Well, I'm glad to know that for the last 2 years you haven't had anything nice to say to me. No, I'm only kidding. I'm only kidding.
You have to paint more. You have to, get better, and then we'll.
Yeah. I've got to paint more. Got to paint more, paint faster. I'm working. Boom, 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 boom. Good stuff. All right, so it's 10 o'clock. I normally finish up here, but what I might do is just quickly throw to the chat. If you've got any questions for Alex and Marco, now's the time. Throw them in the chat. You've probably got maybe 5 or 10 minutes left where we can answer questions. So last chance to talk to some of the miniature painting gurus of the world, the great people, my friends Alex and Marco.
Yeah, it's good we don't have a camera. We're flashing here.
Hey, try loading up that link on your phone. Try loading up that video link on your phone. Maybe we'll get you on video for like 2 seconds. See if that works.
Yeah.
Oh, Marco. While Alex is doing that, what are your thoughts on this Roman gladiator? What do you think about him so far?
Well, I really like when you start putting the blues. I really like that because it gives nice contrast. Also, I can turn him a bit back,
Like the little bit of the middle.
on the side, the other side,
Yeah.
Yeah, more to the side. I really like the cape, like how.
Yeah, I like the cape also a lot.
Like, I don't know what you did before because we didn't start looking, but I really like how there's this.
Foot and joint.
Those colors on the cape really look.
So
I like what I really like about also mine and other people's stuff is when the paint actually looks almost kind of wet.
Yeah.
And that
You can almost touch it and think it's still drying, and that's like really cool effect. Yeah.
Especially on the cape, is that the fact that you can really feel like you can touch it and it would be soft like a fabric. So yeah, I believe it is. It looks like that.
It is.
And I have one like idea if you would like to hear it.
I would love to hear it, please.
Yeah. So you see how you added those warm lights. You have it on the face. You have it on the helmet. You have it on the highlights of the cloak. And I would like to see these blues, these cold blues that you have all around happening on the breastplate, maybe even somewhere. You have that on the skin as well, but maybe it could reflect somewhere on the helmet as well, just to bring some blues into that gold metal.
Good advice. Good advice. Let's do some blues on the thing.
It would connect everything a bit more, and I believe it would even interact further. And I like also the contrast between it. I like the wet feeling and the soft feeling.
Is also great.
All right, two quick questions. Do you like pineapple on pizza?
Mute the Italians. We love it. I love it.
I never tried, so I cannot say.
It's awesome. I love it.
I never tried pineapple on pizza.
It's
Just
awesome.
kidding. I don't see the big fuss. It's okay. It's nothing special. It's okay.
Next time you're in Australia, I'll get you some pizza from here and get you ham and pineapple. You'll love it.
Just one thing. Our friend from Craftworld, he had in his store for the games and board games and
He
miniatures.
also sells pizza.
He sold pizza with pineapple, and you know the name.
You know the name of the pizza because everything is like a geeky name.
Yeah.
And that's,
You know the name for pizza with pineapple? Can you guess it?
it's Warhammer inspired.
Warhammer inspired.
Yeah.
Pineapple on pizza. No, I've got no idea. What is it?
Horus Heresy.
Oh, that's a bit of a stretch. It's not that bad.
Yeah.
All right, final question from the chat. If you weren't a miniature painter, what would you love to do for a job or a hobby?
If we were not miniature painters.
Yeah.
Well, before I was doing miniatures, I was doing the industrial design. So my last big project was designing the buses that are now in our city,
Yeah.
which is really
When you
cool.
visit us, we will.
Yeah.
I stopped doing the design stuff because I found it very, overwhelming, and you have to be always on.
Would you do it if you're a miniature painter?
Probably will. Maybe I will go more into interior and graphic design. But the industrial is really good because I found now when I do the 3D printing and settings, it reminds me of doing the stuff in AutoCAD and Pro Engineer. So
One thing.
so it has its connection.
One thing that you didn't remember and you're good at, and you're not doing it a lot, is sculpting. So maybe you could go into that direction.
Still miniatures.
You don't have to sculpt miniatures. You can sculpt.
You can
bigger
sculpt.
ones.
You can sculpt my face, mate.
Yeah.
And for me, okay, I still, with all of this that we're working, next to being miniature painter, I'm still working as a designer, social media person, like editing videos, also doing the graphic design for us, but I will soon reveal something more. So I worked on some cool projects as well. And I'm leaning toward illustration, trying to go back to that again, because I kind of lost it all because I don't do it. And if I wouldn't do all of it, I guess it should be something creative. I would join Trent in Ensemble to do a tribute for Disney songs.
Yeah.
I would sing. Yeah.
I don't think I've heard you sing. I think I've heard you sing. You were singing around when you were walking around my house a fair bit.
We have video.
We
of
have
you and
video
me
of
singing.
you and Alexandra singing.
That's
I'll
right.
keep that when you become super famous, then I will expose you.
Hey, I don't know if I told you this,
Newspaper.
but my girlfriend got a dog. You remember Kim? She got a dog. Here's our dog. This is our
Yeah.
little dog.
Oh,
We shouldn't see it.
yeah, it looks like one of our dogs.
Just reminding the colors
Look at him.
of yeah.
Oh,
It goes with the songs on it.
It does. It does. All right.
I
It's been a great stream, friends. Thank you for joining me tonight. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you for inviting us. We enjoyed it, and it was nice seeing you, and enjoy a little painting. And
Gallowfire. Gallowfire wants me to sing a song. I'll save it for next stream, Gallowfire. We're wrapping up now, mate. Awesome. All right. What we're going to do is go and find some fucking legend that we can do a raid on, and then we will disappear. You're amazing. So when are we going to catch up, friends? When are you going to come back to Australia, or when am I going to come to there?
as soon as the pandemic.
well, now it's your turn to come to Serbia.
And that also.
My girlfriend's keen. My
We'll
girlfriend's
make a
keen to
show.
come to Serbia. She's like, I've never been to Serbia. Neither have I. So
Yeah. A lot of things to see here. Not to see, but we have a lot of history.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to find someone. Who should we raid tonight? Pascal Ruse is on. Let's raid Pascal. I like him. Oh, hang on a second. Little Mad. I don't think I've seen her on before. Here, I'm just gonna. Oh, hang on a second. What? No, she's speaking a different language. She's speaking French. I think. I don't speak much French. Do you speak French?
Only when you swear.
Let's go and raid Pascal. He's a champion. All right, raid Pascal Ruse. Oh, Pascal. Boom. Thank you, friends, for joining us on Party Monday. You're all great. We'll have a great raid. Say goodbye to Alex and Marco.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Trent.
In the next one, we might have the camera as well.
Yeah, get the camera. Get the camera next time. I was all set up. I was excited for it. All right, we're off. Raid. All right, we've finished streaming. Thanks, guys. You're the best. I miss you both.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bye bye.
Bye. Thanks.
See you soon.
Here's one of the streamers that has He's painting amazingly fucking great stuff there, and he's just rating me. Dano, thank you so much for the rate. How you doing, dude? And hello, everybody. I was just talking about this piece from Mark. He wanted some constructive feedback. Dude, how are you? How was your stream, mate? You're well. It's like I'm starstruck or something. No, fuck it. It was good, awesome. Dude, it's been a while, but that piece where he did all the characters from Forgotten Realms, right? Drizzt and whatnot. That piece is fucking awesome. Paintings like yours are the reason that I'm never gonna buy those models, because I'm never gonna top it. You know? You've seen something that's really great, okay, I'm not gonna buy it because I'm not gonna get it. No, that's shit. Buy them, paint them anyway, probably. I still got fuckloads to do. Fuckloads, okay. Mark, cool. I love to see the progress, right? Keep me posted. Awesome stuff. There we go. For those guys and girls that are new in here, my name is Pascal, and I'm a teacher by day in preschool, teaching 7, 8 years, 9 years. But in the daytime or in my off time, I'm a hobbyist. Obviously, I've been painting up this Tyrant Whisperwind, which is sculpted by Edith Cross. This is a 75mm figure. You're welcome, Mark. Anytime, dude. Anytime. And feel free to hit me up with any questions privately if you need to, right? If I'm not on stream. So I'm painting this up. This has been given away already as a giveaway a while ago, but I needed to finish it. So this and it's actually killing a bit of my motivation. So I'm painting it a little bit, and then I'm going to do something else every day. But she's starting to get done nearly. That's a cool thing. I've got her as a 1 to 10 scale model as well, which is fucking bigger. Yeah, you love it. Have you seen the bigger one? That one has been killing me as well. So this is the 1 to 10 scale. Woo. Luckily this is a multi-piece, so I could take off the blades here. You like the medals, dude? Oh, thank you. Hey, Dano says you like the medals. I'm not kidding. But really